Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for our second live commentary stream of the NASCAR race day as we have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series XPEL 225 from Circuit of the Americas coming your way over the next hour and a half or so. We're going to see some great racing action. The first and only road course race for the Craftsman Truck Series this season. 42 laps around this 3.4 mile road course, and we have a rookie on the front row, on the pole for this one here today. Connor Zilisch making his first career Craftsman Truck Series start, trying to go 1-for-1 in his debut. Truck Series regular Corey Heim, and of course, defending regular season champion, will be starting alongside him on the front row. Taylor Gray, Nick Sanchez are going to end up in row number 2 for this one. Ross Chastain, Jack Hawksworth, row 3. Row 4 is Tanner Gray, Lane Riggs, the rookie who had a solid run at Bristol last week, looking for another good run today. Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes in row 5. Eckes won at Bristol last weekend, trying to go back-to-back. Raja Carruth, Tyler Ankrum, row 6. Carruth with a win this year. A couple top threes for Ankrum so far this season. Stuart Friesen and Grant Enfinger will line up in row number 7. Row number 8 is Chase Purdy, Dean Thompson. Ty Dillon, Stephen Parsons in row 9. Lawless Allen, Matt Crafton rounds out the top 10. And row number 11, Jack Wood, Daniel Dye, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia in row number 12. Matt Crafton, Jack Wood in row number 11. Row 12, Daniel Dye, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, and Brett Holmes will be in row 13. Row 14, Timmy Hill and Marco Andretti. Carter Fadich and Spencer Boyd in row 15. Row 16 is going to be Vicente Salas and Mason Masi. Dale Quarterly and Ben Rhodes will be starting deep in the field in row 17, and row 18 will be Thad Moffitt. 34 trucks will make the start here today, and again, 42 laps of scheduled distance for this XPEL 225 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I'll get the poll up in the chat here over the next couple of minutes. You guys will get to vote for who you think is going to win this race today. So apologize for not having that up right for the start of the stream. Who will win today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at COTA? My pick is going to be Corey Heim for this one. He was fastest in practice, qualified second, had the fastest 5-lap average at least, so the short run speed's going to be there. We know the first 2 stages are very short in length today, 12 laps and 14 laps in the first 2 stages. So having that short run speed is going to be key. Only potential really long run in this race would be in that final stage. And I feel for the most part that obviously having the track position is going to be good for him. He ran really well at COTA last season. And I think he's going to run well here this year. But only this time I think, again, that he is going to get the win. So we'll have Corey Heim on this list. Connor Zilisch, who's on the pole, making his first career start. I'll have him on this list as well. Got to make sure I spell his name correctly. Zilisch. Is it S-C-H? Yep. Okay, so we got Connor Zilisch. And throw Ross Chastain in there. Chastain ran top 3 in the COTA truck race last season, and making his first truck start of the season here today. Mike H. Bond 1771, Corey Freak, Terry Lewis, Dan Bauer, Sharitha Cooper. Thanks for tuning into the stream, everybody. So the chat is up, and that will close at the end of stage 2 per usual. For who you think will win. Our goal is 100 likes on the stream today, already up to 17. Race has not yet gotten started, so appreciate everybody smashing that like button. We hit our goal for likes during the Cup Practice qualifying stream. Our goal was 50. I think we ended up with just over 60. So thank you for everybody who tuned in for a very early stream. 10 a.m. local time for, or I should say 10 a.m. Start time for me. 9 a.m. local time for people maybe at the track in the area at Circuit of the Americas. So again, appreciate everybody tuning in early this morning. Still had pretty good views for that. And obviously qualifying ended up wrapping up not that long ago, really, a little over an hour ago, a little less than an hour ago. I think we got done streaming at like, I want to say it was like 12:46. At just enough time to run to McDonald's, get some food. I did not get to eat all of that, so I'll probably be trying to smash those down at some point between the rest of this stream when I have the opportunity to. And I had just enough time to take my dog out, get back in here, and here we are. Good thing there was no line at McDonald's. I'm thankful there wasn't, because otherwise I might not have gotten back in time. But I did get back about 9 minutes early, so we're here. We're ready to go. And I think we're gonna have some fun here for this race as well. $20-turn road course again, 3.4 miles. Picking Corey Heim to win this race today. Curious to see what you guys think. Connor Zilic is, as of right now, leading the way. Only 12 votes, though. Tied with Ross Chastain for the most. Corey Heim, 25%. Only 8% for other. Very rarely other is like the last pick of the top picks, but it might be the case here. Behind 1770 wants to something about 13 inches of snow. I don't know what you're talking about, but maybe you're in like Colorado or something. Northern Canada. I don't know who's getting 13 inches of snow this time of the year. I've had snow like in my area before, and I can remember snowstorms in like April where we get like a couple inches pure randomness. At that time of the year where it could be 60 one day and like in the mid-20s the next. That's the time of the year living in here in Northwest Ohio. Yep, 12, 14, 16 are the stages today to make up the 42 laps. Again, fairly short stages, so that sprint speed's going to be key. And we will have cautions at the end of each stage for the road course races this season. That was not the case last year. A little trial period to not have them, but it looks like we will have cautions during the stage breaks. I think NASCAR only did that so that way they can guarantee we're going to get 2 more restarts. I think that's the only reason we had them before, and it's the only reason they're coming back. Because it does ruin the strategy with these road course races, but we'll see. Maybe we get some other cautions thrown in there and it kind of creates its own strategy, but we'll have to wait and see. 42 laps, not a long race.
Quick reports from the ladies. Here's Amanda. Jamie, the only Cup driver participating in today's race is the 45 of Ross Chastain. You know, it's got to be pretty special returning to the site of your first Cup win, but he said it's also special that his team owner, Al Neese, has his business operation roughly 20 minutes from here. You know, Ross was a truck that was in contention for the win here last year, but that fuel pressure pump took him out of that contention. But I asked him about Connor Zilic and his opinion on the rookie making his debut here in this city, in this series. And he said, well, I'm his second biggest fan, only behind Justin Marks. Jamie? Well, fresh off an Instant GTD Pro win last weekend at the 12 Hours of Sebring, Jax Hawkworth is making his Truck Series debut here. And this in starting 6th after qualifying. He felt like he really could have improved, moved up a little bit better, but he and his crew chief, Seth Smith, they decided that having to start the race on the same qualifying tires, it wasn't worth putting any more laps on them. They knew they didn't have the pace for pole, but with Jack being a road course master, they feel like they're in a pretty good place to go for a win, Jamie. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we got Daniel Dottie starting in the 23rd position. You can see Daniel's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. And always fun to ride along with Daniel. These onboard shots are so wonderful.
We're also going to ride along with a guy that's got nothing but the pace truck in front of him, and that's our pole sitter, Connor Zilic. 17-year-old Connor Zilic. That's his view right there from that Spire Chevrolet, the Austin Hatcher Foundation Chevy. He's going to be fun to watch.
We'll be riding aboard with them all race long. We're going to step aside, and next up, we're going racing 42 laps around Circuit of the Americas.
All right, looks like a little commercial break while they're on the parade laps here for this one. Went through the starting lineup of this race already, so just kind of keep an eye out on the chat. Linda Bollinger, thanks for tuning in. She's pulling for Ross Chastain today, the number 45 for Nice Motorsports. That extra entry, we'll see how he fares. Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth, thanks for tuning in. Arena Sarah, welcome back. Many of you, obviously, I was just seeing over the last couple hours during the course of the qualifying and practice stream for the Cup Series. Congratulations to William Byron, top of the charts in practice and qualifying. And we'll see him lead the start of the race tomorrow, just as he did last year at COTA for the Cup race. Connor Zilic again going to lead him to the start of this one. That 7 truck is racing for the owner's standings, going to be running the full season. Of course, Kyle Busch already qualified that team for the owner's playoffs with his win at Atlanta. A runner-up finish by Kyle Busch in that truck last weekend. He has ran the last 3 truck races. Still 2 more set for him, but off this week. He did run the truck race at COTA last year. Ended up, if I remember correctly, I think he got the win in this race. Maybe that was 2 years ago. It was one of the two. Because Zane Smith won it 2 years ago. That I do know. Last year, not the case. I know Heim was in contention through much of last year's race, so I expect him to be this season as well. We're going to look ahead at this Truck Series schedule for the remainder of the regular season. A lot of races for the Truck Series early in the year this year. It's not usually the case. Usually they run a few of them maybe, but then there's several off weeks. They've only had 1 off week so far. So let's take a look at this. View the full schedule on our screen while we await the drop of the green flag. And we'll highlight the point standings at some point throughout the course of this race today as well once we get along. What's the Cup Series? We need the trucks. It's already a handful of races into the Truck Series season. Nick Sanchez getting the win at Daytona. Of course, Kyle Busch at Atlanta. Raja Carruth got his win at Vegas. And Christian Eckes last week at Bristol. So 4 races in. This is race number 5 already. There's only 16 races in the regular season. These teams will have an off week next week while the Cup and Xfinity Series head to Richmond. The Truck Series will not be racing at Richmond here in the spring, but they will be at Martinsville the week after that. So 1 off week, and then they'll run back-to-back weeks in April following that. So they'll be off for Easter. But yeah, again, only after today, 11 races left in the regular season already for the Truck Series, so the time is winding down pretty quickly before the playoffs ultimately end up beginning in July. Yes, July, you heard that right, is when the playoffs are going to begin for the Truck Series. August, rather, sorry, not July. Last regular season race would be Richmond, August 10th. And the first playoff race at the Milwaukee Mile on August 25th, on that Sunday. That would be the same Sunday that the Cup Series is in Daytona, towards the end of their regular season. But quite a few off weeks you have to go through the Truck Series schedule, but a lot of races, though, in the springtime. You get through the 2 in April. They race every week in May, leading up to, obviously, through Charlotte. 5 weeks in a row of Truck Series racing, it looks like, once they get to Kansas Speedway, May 4th. Quite a few drivers dropping to the rear for the start of the race today, most notably Christian Eckes. Ben Rhodes will be starting at the tail end of the field. Transmission change for Eckes. Unapproved adjustments for Rhodes. Ty Dillon, Thad Moffitt, a few others also on that list of drivers. About 6 or 7 of them will be starting at the tail end of the field here this afternoon. 24 likes on stream. Again, be sure to hit that like button so we can get to our goal of 100 before the finish of this race, I should say. Podine and Stoner, thanks for tuning out a little bit more. So they are about to be full throttle here in a couple seconds. Exiting off the corner, green flag in the air. Good start for Zilic. Corey Heim spins the tires on the outside of row 1, and we are racing at COTA. A little bit of lane changing going on before the start-finish line, but I believe you are able to do so here this weekend. About 3 trucks locking the brakes up. One of them going wide into turn 1. Actually, a few of them going wide. About 2 or 3 trucks carrying way too much speed up there. Off course they go. Tough to tell exactly who ended up coming out with the race lead. Looks like Taylor Gray came out with the race lead. Started third, got the first, while the 2 drivers who started on the front row overcooked the first turn. Was not expecting that. I don't think anybody was, quite frankly. Already working their way through turn 8. About a 4 to 5 truck length lead for Gray at the very front of the field. Waiting for that leaderboard to update on Fox. None of it yet. Trying to see how far back Corey Heim might have dropped in the running order, because it looks like he dropped back quite a bit. Heim was on the outside of row 1. Zilish on the inside, obviously, was the pole sitter. Heim went way wide. Zilish, rather, went way wide. Corey Heim went wide as well, lost a couple positions, but Zilish from pole to well outside the top 10, just like that, first turn. Locked the brakes up, just went straight. Everybody else obviously able to make the corner. Wasn't as much contact necessarily getting into the first turn, and these guys carrying a lot more speed, obviously, in the restarts into the first turn than years past, and that might have factored in, although Zilish, not an everyday truck regular, still making the mistake. Lane Riggs was able to go from 8th to 4th on this opening lap. Great job by him getting through the restart. Ross Chastain goes from 5th to 3rd, gaining the 2 positions on the drivers who started on the front row. Couple more restarts guaranteed yet today with the stage ends. One driver going to pit road, I believe, for a restart violation, which was Taylor Gray. Again, there were a couple drivers that advanced their position getting to that start-finish line, and Gray, who was the leader coming out of the first turn, is now on pit road for a pass-through penalty. So again, pass-through penalty for him. Lane Riggs locking the brakes up as he tries to make a pass for second on Ross Chastain. Nick Sanchez just behind these guys, and Corey Heim is 5th place after starting in 2nd. Zilish, who started on the pole, is outside the top 20, at least on our leaderboard. Trying to see exactly where that 7 truck is. Zilish is 33rd. Wow. From the pole to 33rd, just like that. And he's on pit road right now. I believe they're changing the tires after he had locked them up, probably flat spotted them. We know we're going to have a stage caution at lap 12, so throw a new set of tires on there. Don't risk anything and try to get them all back from the start of stage 2 onward. May see a rotation of green flag pit stops before pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage as well, so that cutoff would be at the end of lap 10 when the race leader gets to the start-finish line. So Taylor Gray pitted after the restart violation. Tanner Gray in the 15, his brother, had taken over the race lead as a result of that, so the Gray brothers, who were 1 and 2 at the start, now with Tanner out in front and Taylor serving the penalty, falling well outside the top 10. Nick Sanchez making a pass on Corey Heim inside the top 5 for position, or at least a battle for that. It's actually Heim on the attack on Sanchez, rather. Then the 2 on the 11, and the 11 of Heim will make that pass for 4th. So 1 position gained back after starting on the front row. Corey Heim gets him in the stadium section of the racetrack, and we'll see if he can pull ahead and maybe try to put a fight to Ross Chastain for 3rd. Lane Riggs, who started 8th, again up to 2nd in just 2 laps. After a couple drivers going wide in the first turn on the restart, overcooking the braking zone in turn 1, and has passed a couple other trucks since that restart as we're just 2 green flag laps in, and tries to run down the race leader of Tanner Gray. Gray with a 7/10 of a second advantage over Lane Riggs in 2nd place as they get to the start-finish line this time by to conclude lap 2. 3rd place again is Ross Chastain, Corey Heim 4th, and Nick Sanchez rounds out the top 5. That last lap, Tanner Gray was faster than Lane Riggs, but Riggs did have to set up and make a pass on Chastain through a couple corners of the racetrack there, so that probably cost him a little bit on that last lap time. 3 wide in the infield portion of this, and nearly 4 wide getting into a corner there at the tail end of the pack. We'll contact around the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Looks like Zilish went off of the race course again. The 76 also had a flat right front tire and had to make his way to pit road with contact off the initial start there. That would be Spencer Boyd, and he has actually lost the lead lap as a result of that flat right front tire. But again, we continue to stay green. No caution in the early going of this race, despite a wild start on lap 1. And heavy damage now to the 12th truck. Flat left front tire, but a lot of damage around the door. So there's got to be significant contact with somebody else's race truck, because that was a lot of damage to the number 12. That truck being driven by Dale Quarterly in the number 12 as well was in 26th. So somewhere in the running order around him, there has to be somebody else with quite significant damage. Because he definitely didn't do that to himself, you'd have to imagine. Corey Heim did catch and pass Ross Chastain, who's struggling to stay in the top 3. Chastain drops to 4th place, and Nick Sanchez will work underneath the 45 now. Corey Heim, after that quick pass, as mentioned, up to 3rd and looking to run down Lane Riggs and Tanner Gray at the front of the field. Big dive bomb maneuver by Sanchez to get back underneath of Chastain again. A failed pass attempt a couple corners ago. He'll try it a second time. Being the outside through turns 17 and 18. That'll put him on the inside into turn 19, which could create the better opportunity to make the pass there, or even on the inside into turn 20 as well if he doesn't complete it in 19. Close, and now he will complete it in 19. Chastain, who was on the outside of that corner, went a little bit wider than Sanchez, and we are now under caution, debris, and it looks to be on the front stretch. There's a tire carcass off the 12 of Quarterly, which brings out the caution as he couldn't quite make it to pit road. So caution is out for the first time today in Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas. In our first Craftsman Truck Series road course race of the season. Again, the only Truck Series road course race this year. They've axed a few of them from the schedule. This is the only road course race. Still a few more to go for the Xfinity and Cup Series level yet. And Tanner Gray has led the first few laps of this race. Not bad for starting outside the top few positions in the running order. Much needed caution for Chastain as he was starting to lose some positions pretty rapidly there. Would have went green to the end of the stage. You might have been in danger of losing a shot on potentially top 10 at Circuit of the Americas. Your top 10 under the yellow. Tanner Gray's your race leader. Lane Riggs in 2nd. Corey Heim 3rd. Nick Sanchez 4th. Ross Chastain 5th. Jack Hawksworth in 6th. Ty Majeski up to 7th place. Tyler Ankrum in 8th. Grant Enfinger 9th. And Chase Purdy for Spire Motorsports rounds out the top 10. Stephen Harvey, Dilbert Wilson, NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Up to 29 likes. Paraman, thanks for tuning in. What happened to Zilish? Zilish ended up going wide. First turn, started on the pole, locked the front brakes up, just went straight. Ended turn 1, fell outside the top 20. And then he had a little contact in the middle of the pack with Ben Rhodes as they were nearly 4 wide in one of the inner course corners and made more contact, went off, and lost a handful more positions. So, again, last I checked, he was in 33rd and actually came to pit road, I think, after that contact. Took on some new tires, so Zilish at the very back of the lead lap now. And Spencer Boyd in the 76, who had that flat left front tire, may have actually pulled to the garage, considering that he has scored 3 laps down now. So I don't even think he actually completed a lap there. Whether he was still assessing the damage on pit road or in the garage yet to be determined. We'll have to give it a few more laps, but Spencer Boyd, might not have even completed a lap in today's race before retiring after significant contact on that first lap. A lot went on there, but I will say more tame than usual restarts at COTA, all things considered, with the new location of the restart zone right off the exit of that final turn 20. Pit road will be open this time by. We'll see if there's any pit stops.
Time in his career on a road course.
How about that? And this is going to be a huge break for Zilish. We documented the fact that he flat spotted the tires, cut down that tire, made it to pit road. He was over a half lap behind. Now he's going to be able to catch right up with the field.
But I think, Phil, we noticed he was back there pedaling it, taking care of those tires that he had just put in. Now he can catch up and see if he can make some moves through the fields. For example, Ben Rhodes up to 17th position from the back. So there's lots of passing opportunities here at COTA.
And I think Zilish can run past the end of the first stage all the way to his second scheduled pit stop. And he will have the caution laps here, which will help his fuel mileage, as well as the caution lap at the stage break. So I think he can go now to lap 23 or 24, like you were talking about.
I don't think it changes much for him, other than he doesn't have track position. He's obviously got to get that back. And I don't think it changes strategy at all.
He'll have more fun now than he did before because he'll get to pass a lot of trucks.
Let's listen to Majeski's radio.
Yeah, the first one, I can't believe no one got called for that restart. I thought it was supposed to be later. Yeah, the initial was supposed to be all the flagman. He fired as soon as he got out and nobody said anything. So now it should be the back line. So
that was the confusion up and down pit road we're hearing on the radio. You can see as soon as he gets to the line, he fires.
And this is a restart zone typically for restarts. And the rule is you're supposed to stay in line till you get to the start-finish line. And obviously, I think we'd have to penalize about half the field for being out of line. So I think NASCAR is saying that because the restart zone is so far back that we're not going to enforce that staying in line till they get to the start-finish line.
We got a report from NASCAR that you got to stay in line until that single red line past the Geico sign, as you see right here on our screen.
And that is something different this year. They've moved the restart zone back, so this will be the first restart that we've seen today. And what's the idea of that? What's NASCAR trying to accomplish there?
Well, with the restart zone a little bit closer to turn one, that we've seen so much chaos in turn one. We saw a little bit of that on the initial start, and that's with the restart zone and Connor's Village going way, way back just off of turn number 20. So I think we're going to probably see the same thing, but that was the intent, was to not have that such a big jam up when we get up to turn one.
And I can't wait to watch this restart because we're going to have a jam up when we get down to turn one.
Wait a minute, we're trying to do away with that jam up.
It's not happening, as you see.
Connor's Village, they continue working on this truck under the hood.
And you see the NASCAR official there showing the team when to go.
Yeah, they will give these teams one to go back on the backside of the racetrack. They don't necessarily get it at the start-finish line.
Zilic, do you think he might have rubbed that sway bar arm off the left front?
That will hurt him if that's the case.
Something, they're working in that left front area, and when he drove all the way back on that flat tires, things were dragging, obviously. Something was amiss underneath the hood.
Beautiful shots all weekend long. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green flag to the checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. Beautiful shots we loved, especially on the restarts. Overhead, going into turn one, nothing better. There's the choose.
It takes about 4 minutes to run a caution lap here, so that's why the officials are trying to hurry things up. That's why they give them one to go. That's why they choose over on the backside of the racetrack, so we don't have to run an extra caution lap each time at 4 minutes.
It's hard to see there, but there is a little arrow right there in the middle that they're all going around to choose, just like we see normally at every other racetrack. So let's take a look at the old restart zone from last year and the previous 2 years since we've run here. And you see the new restart zone push back quite a bit.
Yeah, they think they would be a little bit more spread out than they got up to turn one. That was the idea behind that. We'll see how it's going to work here.
Trying to avoid chaos?
Well, yeah. I think we're going to, as Michael said, we're going to have it anyway.
NASCAR polls the drivers and asks them what their opinion is on where that line should be. And they go off of feedback from those guys to see how they can maybe improve.
And it's so close to turn number 20 as Zilic is still on pit road, so close to turn 20 that most of the field will actually be in a turn and the straightaway between 19 and 20, so that theoretically should spread them out a little bit more.
And you can see a lot of work going on the left front, so suspension damage, I suspect. After that tire went flat, he drug it all the way back to the pit area.
So NASCAR just warned all drivers, all teams, reminded them of the new restart zone. So we'll see that, get a good glimpse of it here. They make their way around, coming through turn 19, warming up those tires. Wow, I just cannot believe Connor Zilic. Nobody saw that one coming. He was just lights out in qualifying yesterday. Now he sits on pit road as the rest of the field gets ready to come around for this. So Zilic is about to be a lap down here on this restart. Front row this time is going to be Tanner Gray and rookie Lane Riggs. So we'll see how they fare compared to the two drivers on the front row the last restart, the initial start. Back to racing at COTA, lap 6, green flag in the air, about halfway through stage 1. Riggs on the outside, gets through those bumps. Not going to take the corner as deep as the two drivers underneath him as they're 3 wide for the lead into the first turn. Still 3 wide for the race lead, coming off of turn 1 into turn 2 with Corey Heim, who fell back outside the top 5 on the initial start from second, is now in the lead off the first restart.
from third. Got by both the two drivers on the front row, caught him napping a little bit there. Great restart by Corey Heim. And Tanner Gray, who was the leader on that restart, fell to about 4th or 5th place, and that was even with not really going wide necessarily, just maybe babied that turn one a little bit too much, seeing the first couple drivers go so wide on the first restart, and everybody else timed it much better than him. So with Heim in the lead, Lane Riggs fell to second, still jockey for position going on around turn 11. One truck gets spun nearly sideways, loses a handful of positions, makes a good save, and regathers their momentum onto the longest straightaway of the race course. And now the 3 wide for, it looks like, middle of the pack, right around Matt Crafton, Stephen Parsons, and Ben Rhodes. Crafton lost a lot of track position on this restart. I believe he was in the top 10 before that. Not the case anymore. Another truck going wide. I believe that was Raja Karut now. And he loses a few positions. First lap or two after the restart is definitely wild here. This track is so wide. There's so much pavement. You see so many trucks or cars, depending on what series it is, just so far wide, obviously, that there's a lot of room to go racing. Only track limits are in the S's. So it's just coming off of pit road. So even though he's a lap down, he would get the free pass at the end of this first stage. So maybe part of the lengthy stop there. They know they're going to get that lap back in about another 6 or 7 laps or so from now. We'll have officially 6 laps to go in stage 1 when they get back to the start-finish line. This time by big crash right around turn 20. Just getting onto the main straightaway. It looked like there were about 3 or 4 trucks that had spun sideways. One has come to a complete stop. 2 of them now have been stopped on the main straightaway. The 20 truck. And it looks like Salas is going to get running again. So he was stalled out there for a moment. Now he'll regather his speed. And I couldn't tell who else might have stalled out in that as well. And the spin actually had taken place just outside the top 10, and then as the field was trying to get by, it looked like a couple of them jammed the brakes up a little late and spun a couple other trucks nearly into the one truck spinning sideways. It was Stuart Friesen, it looked like. Friesen in the 52 went for a spin in turn 20. It was off the front bumper of Daniel Dye in the 43. There was definitely some contact made between the two. Marco Andretti in the 04 had to spin to miss the 52 of Friesen, and then a couple others kind of breaking into each other after the fact. Lane Riggs on pit road, backwards. Not sure what's going on here.
Needs. All right, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
That's one way to do it.
All right, stop it there. What's your voltage read?
It's not lost power. An alternator probably went bad, or battery. That's why they're tracking the left side of the truck. Jamie, what's going on with that 38?
Well, he said that he lost all power after he wheel hopped it. When it sat back down, everything just shut off. And he said as soon as he gets it fired, when he feels any sort of vibration, that's when it shuts off again. So they certainly have an issue that they're going to have to address here. Hate to see that. The 38 truck has just been the standout. Last 3 straight years, that truck has gone to victory lane.
The size of this racetrack allowed NASCAR to keep this race under green and not throw that caution. We're on an oval anywhere else. That truck sat there for as long as it did. That's going to bring out a caution. Not here.
And we like that. Just 5 laps to go here in stage number 1. So Corey Heim, the leader. There's Nick Sanchez in second. Ross Chastain behind him. Ty Majeski and Tanner Gray, your top 5.
Jack Hawksworth in that 1 is in 6th.
Guys, didn't the 19 of Christian Eckes start in the back?
Yes, he did.
Do you see where he's running right now?
Along with Ben Rhodes.
These boys are on a move. Eckes up to 7th.
Is that a problem for
That's Daniel Dye, was it?
Dye going slow?
Daniel's definitely off the pace. Still under power, but off the pace.
Yeah, you could tell there.
Got a flat tire, maybe? Is
In the free pass position right now.
It's getting crowded up there.
What about the Bama buggies coming to the party?
Off-roading it a little bit in that truck.
Chase Purdy saying, I'm here to race too.
Taylor Gray, he had that penalty early. He's on the march forward.
This is good racing. Tight pack here.
All for that 8th, 9th, and 10th position.
Look at that.
Matt Crafton, great run last week, picking up right where he left off.
3 wide.
4 wide.
For a second. This is good stuff. Oh,
Little contact between the 75 of Stephen Parsons and the 17 of Taylor Gray.
Ben Rhodes gets it. He'll take over that 9th spot. Congratulations to Ben Rhodes and his wife, Caitlin. She gave birth to a little baby girl on Wednesday morning, Annabelle.
Then felt a little guilty that he was out here getting some sleep.
I said, don't tell her how well you're sleeping out here.
I take it back.
And we got problems on the 17, Taylor Gray.
that's from that contact, I believe.
Quite a bit. Yep, you see that fender rub.
Right front fender in on the tire. He'll have to come to pit road.
It's going to come. That's not going to be that far out of the realm of his possible strategy as well.
Well, it's been an eventful day for the 17, no doubt. Matt Crafton wants to pick up another spot. Chase Purdy.
There's the damage on that 17 truck. They'll have to pull that out. They can overcome all this. It's been a rough start, but he's got a lot of speed, and this is certainly something they can overcome.
Let's take a look back at that contact. Well, there's a lot of contact right there.
Yeah, pick your corner, and then you could say that was a contact or not.
They've all got a little bit.
Yes, I think 17 and 75 got together.
Hey, these stages aren't very long. These guys are battling for those points. You finish in the top 10, you do get points.
Grant Enfinger's around.
He rights the ship. Lane Rick's still out there, so he obviously worked out his issues.
And that's something right there that can change your strategy. You go for a spin outside the top 10, you might come to pit road right now and get your stop done. As you see Matt Crafton working over Chase Purdy.
It's a battle for, I think that's a battle for the 10th position right now.
Great battle. Crafton just took over the 11th spot right there, just ahead of him as Stephen Parsons making his first Truck Series road course start.
Yeah, local sponsor Trophy Tractor on board, the 75 truck.
Got a couple local sponsors on board. Gonna run 10 to 12 races this year, doing a really nice job. And you see the contact right there that sent Grant Enfinger around.
Maybe the 5 of Dean Thompson.
Dean Thompson involved.
Nice thing about this is so many of these corners are so slow. We see these trucks spin. It's not going to flat spot those tires no faster than they're going.
All right, we talked about the different strategies. Guys, the pit window's open, so we got to keep our eyes on
And here he
right
comes.
here.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Commitment. Corey Heim will bring it down.
Okay, that yellow line is where the speed starts. You have to be at pit road speed at that yellow line.
Looks like Jack Hawksworth following him down pit road. So Nick Sanchez will take over the lead. Jamie.
They're also telling Corey Heim, make sure you stay left when you come down pit lane because there's also some debris down here as well. But this is a planned early stop for this number 11 team. They knew they were going to give up stage points to do this, but they're going for the race win. And they ultimately feel like they've got a really solid truck. He doesn't want any changes, Amanda.
There's also a planned stop for Ross Chastain. He wanted more grip in that truck. It was 4 tires and fuel. And for Ty Majeski, it is a brand new road course truck this weekend for the operation. Making it look good out there for Ty Majeski as well.
Connor Zilic is probably holding his breath right now. He's moved into the free pass position, but with all these stops and people slowing on the track, that could change quickly. But I'm going to tell you what about Connor Zilic. The last 2 laps, the fastest 2 laps of the race. So if he gets lucky and gets this break and gets his lap back right now, he becomes our favorite again, Bill, even after all he's been through.
And I think he stays out and tries to let everyone come to pit road and reach. Well, he still has to restart behind the lead lap trucks, though.
They're not all going to come to pit road, though. So.
Yeah.
Michael, I like what you're selling there.
No, it's real.
I think they
What I'm telling you is real, and he's really fast.
I think they
really
figured out his issues, and that's the good news. So definitely not out of the race just yet.
As Michael speculated, he drove the sway bar arm off, and they had to replace that. They did a really nice job doing
Very
it,
nice.
and only losing 1 lap.
Nick Sanchez continuing his solid start to the season.
He Zilch is almost a full track behind Sanchez. Plus a lap.
I love this track map. It really gives you an idea, a visual of what you're looking at, where the leader is. Connor Zilch in the 7, who we keep talking about. I'm just really impressed with what Christian Eckes and Ben Rhodes have been able to do. Eckes in the 4th spot, Ben Rhodes up to 6th. Obviously, some good trucks.
I don't know that I've ever seen anybody that much faster than the rest of the field like Zilch is right now.
I just pointed to the scoring monitor, Jamie, and Phil, and I both looked at it in disbelief. He was 3 seconds faster than the leader last time by. He's just got so much pace.
I feel like this is yesterday all over again. You guys were looking at each other saying the same thing about how fast that truck was.
But Brian Patty has his work cut out for him. He's got to figure out how to get that truck back on the lead lap. Then he's a contender for the win again. As you mentioned, right now, he is in that 3-pass position, and we're just a couple laps away from the caution for the stage break.
JB talked about it. So much action. There's stuff happening everywhere. That's what I'm saying. He's got to hold his breath and see if he can remain in that position.
And Tyler Ankrum, we have talked about him every single race this year. Comes over to this new team, and he's just been lights out.
He's a point leader, right?
Good footwork. And we saw him.
So Nick Sanchez is going to stay out to try to get these stage points, get the stage win. Remember, he is locked into the playoffs already, so just looking to pick up another playoff point. Maybe he doesn't feel he's got what it takes to necessarily get the win today, so he's just going to maximize his points opportunities when he can. Or even with the sake with this being the first stage that he feels like maybe he can get away with getting the stage win here and still set himself up for the final stage by not doing the strategy in stage 2. So I think that's why we see quite a few drivers staying out to get stage points now and not as many drivers pitting before pit road close 2 to go in the stage. But we'll see more drivers do that before the end of stage 2, because then they'll be able to go to the end of the race on fuel for the final stage without having to pit again. But Nick Sanchez, a 3.5 second lead right now. Ty Majeski is in second. 3.9 seconds off the lead is Tanner Gray in third. Tyler Ankrum 7.5 seconds off the lead in fourth. Christian Eckes is fifth, 7.9 seconds back after starting deep in the field. Remember, he had a transmission change and had to start at the back as a result of that. So here we go. Late in this stage, we'll take a look at the point standings coming into this race as well before we get to the stage end here with no real battles going on for position in the final 2 laps right now. Race leader Sanchez just working his way off turn 20, so we are now on the final lap of stage 1 at COTA. And just this 12-lap opening stage had that caution for debris just a few laps in and about a 7 green flag lap run to the final lap of this stage, obviously, right now. So as for Nick Sanchez, it's actually going to be his first stage win of the year, so maybe another reason why he wanted to stay out, pick up that playoff point. I'll give him 6 playoff points now with having that win at Daytona to start the season. Tyler Ankrum currently leads the point standings, as you heard on the broadcast. He has a 17-point lead over Corey Heim coming into this one here today. So Ankrum staying out to get these stage points, maybe thinking, hey, I could compete for the regular season championship here. Corey Heim pitted from the lead, so he will cycle out as the leader to begin stage 2, but no stage points for Heim, so he's going to lose 10 more points. He was already 17 back coming in. Roger Carruth, who has a win this year and is locked into the playoffs, is currently sitting third overall in the standings. He's 22 points out of first. Ty Majeski, fourth in the standings. Christian Eckes, fifth. Again, the only 3 drivers that are Truck Series regulars who have a win this year would be Carruth, Eckes, and Sanchez. So 3 spots locked up. Only 10 drivers qualify for the playoffs in the Truck Series. And right around the bubble, you see Brett Holmes in that final spot in 10th right now. Daniel Dye just 5 points behind him. Grant Enfinger on the inside of the cutoff line by about 24 points as well. Matt Crafton just ahead of Enfinger in points. And again, Stuart Friesen, who missed the playoffs last year, sitting 13th in the standings. The defending champion, Ben Rhodes, 15th in points after the first 4 races of the season. Not a strong start for him as well. So we'll see if he could pick it up and get going here as we are honestly approaching the midway portion of the regular season already for the Truck Series. Again, this is the 5th race, only 11 to go until the playoffs with a 16-race regular season. Gap hasn't closed much, and most of that is just because Sanchez has such a big lead over Ty Majeski following the drivers who decided to pit and not get stage points who have already pit. Nick Sanchez just working his way through turn 19 right now. 1 more corner to go, and Sanchez again will pick up that first stage win of 2024. Who knows? Maybe he can go on and still win the race. We'll see how many more spots he can get back on the restart, as he's going to be back in traffic just a little bit to where he had started the race initially. But Nick Sanchez, your stage 1 winner. Ty Majeski second, Tanner Gray third, Tyler Ankrum fourth, Christian Eckes fifth, Ben Rhodes sixth. Much needed points there. Just mentioned he was 15th in the standings coming in. Chase Purdy 7th, Matt Crafton 8th, Jack Wood 9th, and Ty Dillon rounds out the top 10. Those will be the 10 drivers receiving stage points here in stage 1. The drivers who pitted late in the stage to sacrifice any sort of shot at stage points would include Corey Heim, Ross Chastain, Jack Hawksworth, and I think Raja Kruth. I think those were the only 4 that hit pit road. Enfinger went for a spin in the middle of that stage, so I'm not sure if he ended up pitting or not. He was in the back half of the top 10 right before that. So when they come back from the commercial break, I'll let you listen in to more of the telecast. I think I'll have to take the dog out again here shortly. So, but I'll wait for the telecast to come back on, and then I'll continue. I'll do that as quickly as I can. Hopefully, I'll be back in for the restart. 41 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't done so yet. Our goal is 100 likes for the stream. We have over 100 watching right now, so appreciate it. It's our second stream of the day. Again, we had NASCAR Cup Series practice qualifying stream. And obviously, we have this one going on right now. We still have an Xfinity race later this evening as well. That will start at 5 p.m. Again, Xfinity race coverage at 5 p.m. Eastern Time a little bit later on. Mark Witkowski, thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Yeah, hitting that like button definitely helps the show you're watching. I appreciate every one of you guys watching. T-Van, thanks for tuning in. Need to change my pick for Zilish for the win. Yeah, you can still change your pick. For those that voted in the chat, Connor Zilish is still the top vote getter. He could still come back and get the win. Let me check to see if he ended up getting the free pass. He did. Okay, so Zilish will be back on the lead lap. He will get the free pass with this stage end. Daniel Dye, Lane Riggs, Spencer Boyd, Thad Moffitt going to be trapped a lap down still. Power issues for Lane Riggs. His truck was shutting on and off there. So can't figure out the diagnosis there. Daniel Dye had a couple of unscheduled stops. And he was very slow with a flat tire, I do believe, as well. Spencer Boyd had the flat tire on the first lap, lost 4 laps. And Thad Moffitt now 7 laps down. I don't even think he's on the racetrack anymore. So quite a few drivers actually ended up falling off the lead lap in that first stage, despite it only being 12 laps, mainly due to some sort of either mechanical or cosmetic damage issues. But again, stage 1 winner, Nick Sanchez, getting the playoff point. Corey Heim led for 3 laps. 4 laps led for Tanner Gray before Heim took the lead away from Gray on that first restart of the race after the first caution. Lane Riggs got the lead a lap, and the pole sitter, Connor Zilish, went wide in the first turn, so he did not lead a lap. A few lead changes, though, as a result of all that going on. I think that one lap that Lane Riggs led also before he had the power issues with the race truck, whether that was a battery or an alternator. Not entirely sure exactly what the cause of that problem was, but maybe we'll get an update shortly.
225, stage number 1 is in the books. About ready to see some pit stops here, gentlemen.
So look at the points we talked about, the top 10. Do get points. Nick Sanchez, a valuable 10 there, all the way down to Ty Dillon was battling for that spot. He picks up 1 point.
Yeah, Eckes and Rhodes get points after starting at the back. Now the fun starts.
Now the fun starts. The free pass is...
What do you mean now? I've had a good time all the way up. So this is good stuff.
I'm assuming that most everybody that has not stopped yet, which is the top 11 trucks, will pit. I mean, they don't necessarily have to.
They don't have to. They can make it to halfway. Here comes Connor.
He's got the free pass, so that's about how it looked at Bristol last week when somebody had fresh tires in that cup race.
Well, I'm afraid that's what it's going to look like in this truck race when he gets into the flat back. He's going to be driving through the field like that. He said, he went by the leaders and said, I'll see you all in a little bit. I'll be back.
He gets to have a little bit of fun now, back on the lead lap. Stage number 2 coming up will be 14 laps long. This
Here they
stage
come.
1 was 12. They're all making their way toward you. Ben Rhodes in his box, Amanda. Yeah, Jamie, you got to remember he started from the rear of this race all the way up into the 6th position as he enters into his pit box. Said that the truck feels much better than it did yesterday in practice. Should be just a normal stop for Ben Rhodes. And then on to the 15 of Tanner Gray. Said that they're losing grip laterally as they run. There will be some adjustments there. Jamie? Well, for the number 2 of Nick Sanchez, he said there at the end he was just cruising. He let everybody else burn off their tires. He saved his to make it to the end of that stage. He's happy with what's underneath him. But number 18 of Tyler Anger, you guys talked about him in the booth of him leading the points right now, and he said that's really our strategy for today. He said I don't have a truck capable of winning. I've got a truck capable of finishing in the top 10. It's going to be about staying smart. They just pulled off some tape there to make sure that he can get some air to those brakes. Jamie? All right, some fresh tires, some adjustments, some fuel.
And I like that strategy. If you don't think you have a race-winning truck, why not get points in the first stage and the second stage? Accumulate those points.
Oh, is Shoe on pit road here?
Stop.
Dale Quarterly and Tyler Ankrum.
So close to Matt Mills, front changer and Jackman.
They're able to avoid major contact for Ingram. I don't think he'll have to come back.
Somebody's dragging.
Maybe a piece of side skirt, it looked like.
Truck's filing off pit road. Wow. Nice reset here. Let's catch our breath and go back
Yes,
in.
Corey Heim will be the leader when we come back and drop the green once again from Circuit of the Americas. We're going to see a little bit more of this, guys. Smile.
All right, well, talk about perfect timing there. I don't know. I took her out. She didn't even do anything. She kind of ran back in right away. It's pretty windy. She doesn't like the wind, so I was going to say that's the second time I've taken her out in the last hour now, so I'd like to hope that she is going to be at least good to the end of the stream. We'll see. No clue who won the race off pit road. I missed all that. Have to wait for our leaderboard to update. We do know, obviously, Corey Heim will be the leader on the restart because he had pitted before the end of the last stage. Green flag already? Yep. I misspelled the poll question. Oh my goodness, I did. I don't think I can edit it. No, I have to end it. I don't want to start a new poll. I didn't realize I misspelled the... I meant to put who, and somehow I had an I instead of an O in there. Look at how I spelled series too. I had a capital S and a capital E on that somehow. My goodness, you can tell I rushed it. Oh my goodness. Can't believe I did that. It looks like a first grader typed that out. I spelled Zillish right though. And he's still leading the poll, 30%. 30% of you still think he's going to get the win here today in his truck debut. Ross Chastain, Corey Heim, both at 27% of the votes, another at 17%. This is honestly one of the more even polls I think I've seen in a while on the channel. Appreciate everybody voting for who you think will win. Again, that will stay open until the end of stage 2. You have until the end of stage 2. Leader gets to the start-finish line. Then our leaderboard will update. It's our second caution of the day. Lap 12, again, with the stage end. 14 laps in stage 2, so we'll be racing to lap 26 for the end of this next stage. 18 laps in the final stage. Excuse me, 16. 16 laps in the final stage.
One of the most beautiful racetracks we go to all year. Circuit of the Americas. Everywhere you look, stars and stripes.
Bad YouTube spellers, I guess.
Boys and girls turn left and right all weekend long. 3 series. We've got the Xfinity Series coming up after us. Of course, the Cup Series tomorrow. Here's Connor Zillich. All eyes are on him. Back in 31st.
Yeah, the key is on the lead lap, though. On the lead lap, he is still in contention.
So Corey Heim, Jack Hawksworth going to restart on the front row.
Hopefully Zillich gets caught up at the back of the field here as he had gotten the wave around, obviously with getting the got the free pass, I guess. I was getting to be the first driver 1 lap down at the end of the last stage. Corey Heim going to lead him to the green. He'll be on the inside of row 1. Back to racing. Easily clear. He can actually pull up if he wants to right now. He's got the ability to do so. As he pulls up, will that allow for Hawksworth to pull down? Yep, Hawksworth going into the first turn. Sends it. No contact between the top two, but side by side as they exit the first turn. A lot of contact in the middle of the pack, 3-4 wide. And Hawksworth comes out with the race lead out of turn 2. Great restart there by Jack Hawksworth. As soon as Corey Heim pulled up, you can really see that whole opening down on the bottom. Hawksworth took advantage of it and made the most of the opportunity he had to get to the lead. We'll see if he can hold on over the driver who had the best long-run pace there in Stage 1, Corey Heim. Heim challenges to the outside in turns 7 and 8. Put him on the inside for turns 9 and 10, but he can't hold on to the inside. And as he slips up out of turn 8, here comes Raja Karuth for second place. Karuth a little bit of damage to the nose of his race truck. Probably going to hurt him in the speed department on the longer straightaways. Looks like the hood has got a little bit of a gap between that and the actual front bumper of the race car. But he does make the pass for second on Corey Heim. Heim going to try to cross him over now as they head downhill to turn 12. Hard 90-degree left-hand corner coming up off the longest on-throttle straightaway of the racetrack. Heim on the inside now, Karuth on the outside. Corey Heim with the crossover move to get back to second place. Clean pass by the 11. Allowing Hawksworth to put a little bit of a gap between those two trucks behind him. And yeah, that long straightaway speed got hurt there by Karuth. It's going to be tough for him to navigate all afternoon long with the heavy damage to the front of his race truck. But has a track position for right now. Dean Thompson also stayed out of the pits there because he pitted early in the last stage. And looks like back half of the top 10 would be the drivers like Nick Sanchez, who won the last stage. Got some stage points. Tanner Gray, Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, all in that same strategy right now. They're about 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We'll see if they do that again here for stage 2 or not. Imagine Corey Heim's going to sacrifice stage points again when we get to that window. Zillich trying to get his way through traffic right now. Wow, what an undercut move. It's going to be 3 wide on the main straightaway, though, as he's in the middle of the pack. Battling with the 22 and the 17 right now. Gray obviously qualified in the top few positions in the running order as well. Zillich down into the first turn. Still can't quite make the pass on Taylor Gray. Quite a few trucks in front of him, though. These guys aren't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Side by side in the S is probably the toughest area of the racetrack to go side by side as Gray makes the pass on Timmy Hill. Very back of the pack are these two. Gray had the pass-through penalty at the very beginning of the race as well. That's what set him back in the running order here in stage 1. And now in the early going to stage 2, we got a battle for the race lead again. Lap and a half after the restart, Corey Heim is caught right back up to Jack Hawksworth. More side-by-side action right in front of Nick Sanchez, back half of the top 10 as well through turn 8. Big power move on the inside lane through turn 11 for Corey Heim as he takes the race lead away from Hawksworth. As that battle for positions right around 8th and 9th place continues to go on. Clean maneuver there by Heim. He's making the most of those very heavy braking corners. He's able to make the clean passes and still be able to accelerate quicker than those other drivers around him. Heim trying to get his first win of the season. He could be the 4th driver to lock himself into the Truck Series playoffs here today. That would leave only 6 spots remaining with still 11 races to go. I mean, I guess there's an opportunity to get more than 10 different winners. Has never happened before. Since the playoffs had debuted for the Truck Series back in 2017. Hawksworth is staying with Corey Heim. Maybe has a chance to look at his line and find some differences in speed that he may have had when he was leading the race. We'll see. He's got dirtier air to work with right now, so that's definitely a disadvantage. Jake Garcia had gotten passed through the last couple of corners by Nick Sanchez, who tries to fight back through the field after staying out to win that last stage. Again, alternating pit strategy here for Sanchez versus your current race leader of Corey Heim. So Sanchez trying to get that track position back for right now as he continues in the 9th place position. Christian Eckes is actually the highest in the running order of those that did pit during the stage 1 break, as Eckes is a couple positions ahead of Sanchez in 7th. And he's got about 3 to 4 green flag lap fresher tires than everybody in front of him. So that could make the potential passing opportunities a little bit better for him. But as he is back in traffic, the guy with the clean air, Corey Heim, was still the driver who had ran the fastest lap that last time by, as he had about a half a second lead over Jack Hawksworth in second. We'll go through the full field running order here for the first time today as we're early in stage 2. Again, Corey Heim, your race leader. Jack Hawksworth is in second. Roger Crew third. Ty Majeski, 14. Thompson rounds out the top 5 in the 5 truck. Stuart Friesen's in 6th. Christian Eck is 7th. Stephen Parsons 8th. Nick Sanchez 9th. And Tanner Gray is in 10th. 11th place for Jake Garcia. Matt Kraft in 12th. 13th place for Ben Rhodes. Tyler Rankin 14th. Grant Enfinger 15th. Chase Purdy 16th. 17th for Connor Zilich, already halfway through the field after restarting at the tail end of the lead lap, getting the free pass moments ago. Ty Dillon's in 18th. Ross Chastain 19th. Taylor Gray 20th. Lawless Allen 21st. Jack Wood 22nd. Timmy Hill in 23rd. 24th for Matt Mills. Brett Holmes 25th. Dale Quarterly 26th. Mason Massey 27th. Vicente Salas in 28th. Bailey Curry 29th. Marco Andretti is 30th. Carter Fatouche is in is in 31st. Lane Riggs, I believe, is back on the racetrack. Whether they changed the alternator or battery, whatever happened there with his power issues, the truck again was kind of shutting on and off on him, especially during the violent curbing areas of the racetrack. Truck would slam back down and it would shut off on him. He's 4 laps down in 32nd. Daniel Dye, 33rd, 5 laps down. Spencer Boyd is also 5 laps down at 34th. Thad Moffitt rounds out the 35 truck field here today. So currently sitting with 31 on the lead lap. Nobody is 1 lap down, at least to this point. One more pit stop still to make it to the end of this race for fuel and tire purposes. Got 48 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button if you guys haven't done so yet today. Again, this is our second of 3 streams. Still got a NASCAR Xfinity Series race coming up in a couple of hours. And our Cup Series action tomorrow will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Like, comment in the chat. Keep an eye on it. Subscribe. Continue our live commentary coverage of the XPEL 225 at COTA. And again, end of stage 2 will be the end of the poll. Corey Heim has now taken the lead in our poll in the chat at 30% of the votes. Looking like the fastest truck in the field, along with Connor Zilich, who lost all that track position off the start, but he is getting back through there. And we'll see what he does here at the end of the stage. I would assume he's going to end up pitting him. He's not running for points, so there's no sense of him staying out to get stage points. How many drivers in front of him are going to do that? Because he'll be able to leapfrog those drivers in the running order. Zilich still back in 23rd. Must have lost some spots that last lap because he got to about 17th or 18th, and now he's fallen back a little bit more, so might have had some contact or something of that nature under this commercial break. What happened to Dale Quarterly? He had contact off the initial start. He's 25th still on the lead lap. I'm quite surprised because he had a flat left front. I believe that was the reason for that debris caution back on lap 3.
From Austin, Texas, Corey Heim continues to lead here in stage number 2, working lap number 6 of 14 here. We had a whole gaggle of trucks during the break get together. We're told this is in turn number 12. This is battling for the top 15 position.
You see the 77. Maybe gets into the back of the 18.
The 18 got into the 7. You see the 7 on the top of the screen there. Connor Zilich around.
And that may be Chase Purdy getting into the back of Tyler Rankin in the 18.
And then that put him, maybe as you see
the storyline. Tiger, 3 here, level head. Got plenty of speed.
Well, the fun is just starting for Connor Zilich today. Believe it or not, he has another race right after this. There's going to be a plane waiting for him to take him to Pensacola for the ARCA East game. So you talk about the day ahead for this 17-year-old, the mindset that it takes to pull this off.
Well,
it's incredible.
His mind is working overtime right now, trying to pick his way, like you said, Billy, made up to about the top 15. I think he's running 16, and now he's just having to work his way back 5. All the trucks he just passed.
So, Michael, are you saying that the 7 trucks probably going to win the award for most trucks passed today?
Yes, that's for sure. And I would not be surprised for us to be talking about him on the last lap as well. He's got a lot to learn, obviously, racing against these guys he's never raced with before. But these early lessons are so valuable. And if he can overcome them, this race will be one of the biggest races of his career in NASCAR for sure. Winning the 24 hours at Daytona is probably the biggest race of his career so far in general.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The Rolex wins Sebring in the same year. He's only 17 years old. Talked to him this morning, and he said, I'll probably run about 60 races this year. You're talking everything from, he's running his TA2, so he's running Trans Am, he's running ARCA trucks.
LMP2.
Some Xfinity. He said right now he has 3 truck races planned, but he's hoping to add a few more to that. So he's racing, he said, every single week. So that mentality of just get in it and rip, and you don't have time to think about it, overthink, and get nervous.
Good battle for 11th here. That's 7 and 75 in pit roads, and the 99 right in front of this battle is the 88 of Matt Craftsman. We're here. So you see Matt ducking down pit road, exceeding track limits. Yes, we talked about that at the very top of the show. We told you to show you the track map.
So exceeding track limits, basically that means all 4 tires are outside of the racing line, outside of those rumble strips. You have to have 1 tire on and you're good. So they've got cameras set up there, and they will post you if they see that you cut the course at all. And you saw it there, the 88 had to come down pit road.
Yeah, remember turns 3 to turn 6. We see these drivers way outside the rumble strips at other parts of the racetrack, but that's okay.
Corey Heim, Jack Hawksworth, Ty Majeski, Dean Thompson with a great run going, and Christian Eckes, who started in the back after changing his transmission, he's in 5th.
Around lap number 19. Remember, we're going to see a lot of these drivers and teams pit around lap 23. Maybe the guys up front can pit as late as 24, Jamie Howe.
Well, for Christian Eckes, you mentioned he had to start at the back after changing that transmission. When we got to the end of the first stage, he was already right there knocking on the door of the top 10. He restarted in 11th, but what he was able to learn and coming up through the field in that first stage was not to overwork those tires. When he came in for the pit stop to take on 4 new ones, he did have a flat spot on that right front. The team has been able to relay that information. He felt the damage caused, and now he knows where the limit is. That's only going to help him as we get closer to the end.
You know, we saw Nick Sanchez win that first stage, but currently the truck that's furthest forward of the ones that pitted at the end of the stage is this 98 of Ty Majeski. So he's had a nice restart, got a lot of speed, been watching his lap time. He's matching the leaders. So this is a fast truck.
I feel like every time we go to a road course, Ty Majeski is in the hunt, right there in the top 3, top 4 at the end of these things.
And he doesn't have a background in road racing. He's one of the best short track racers we have in the country.
Just one of those that put his mind to getting better here, kind of like Tyler Reddick. He wasn't good on road courses, didn't like him, and he kept telling himself he didn't like it. And oh, by the way, he flipped that switch one day and said, I need to get better. This is my weakness. And now look at him. He's a favorite every time we go to a road course.
When Tyler came to the truck series, he really wasn't very good at restarting because he never shifted on the dirt track racing that he'd done. But man, has he figured it out now.
So many tools if you're willing to put in the time and effort.
Phil, I think the pit window is near opening. You talked about strategy and coming to pit road before the end of the stage break. I believe in another lap or 2, we're going to see some business happen.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the advantage to that is versus waiting till lap 23 or 4 is if the caution were to come out in between that, right after you come to pit road, then that's going to give you a huge advantage. Nobody else had made their pit stop yet.
Couple penalties. Connor Zilic cutting the course in the S's will have a pass-through penalty. Also told Nick Sanchez, the 2 that won stage number 1, same thing. So he will have a pass-through penalty as well. You see it there. Corey Heim continues to lead here. 6 laps to go in stage number 2. You won't miss it. We're going side by side.
All right. Side-by-side commercial break. 33 truck just went for a spin. Lawless Allen, he is stalled for right now, but I believe he is waiting for the track to clear so he can pull back in the correct direction again. 6 laps to go in stage 2 to this point. Corey Heim has a 2-second lead over Jack Hawksworth in second. Ty Majeski 7.3 seconds off the lead in third. Dean Thompson's 9.4 seconds back in fourth. Christian Eckes rounds out the top 5 at 11.2 seconds off the lead. Tanner Gray's 14.1 seconds back at 6th. Stuart Friesen 7th as he is 15.2 seconds off the lead. Raja Kruth 8th, 15.2 seconds off the lead as well, so battle for 7th between Friesen and Carruth. Ben Rhodes is in 9th place after starting at the rear of the field today. He's 18.7 seconds back, and Stephen Parsons rounds out the top 10 in 10th, 19.2 seconds off the lead. Mention that side-by-side battle between Carruth and Friesen going on right now. Friesen catching Carruth, who had restarted a little bit further up in the running order. Again, suffered some damage off an earlier restart in this race, and that is setting it back just a little bit. 51 likes on the stream. We're just past halfway to our goal. Again, our goal is to get to 100. Likes on the stream. Halfway home, 21 laps down, 21 laps still to go. Final stage is 16 laps, so we're down to 5 laps left here in stage 2. And we are under caution. For just the 3rd time today, caution flag's out late in the stage. And this is going to definitely throw some of that pit strategy in for a bit of a loop. Had a couple trucks that were on pit road when the caution had actually waved, which means that they're actually going to cycle ahead of whoever ends up pitting here. Like your race leader, Corey Heim, and a few others. Taylor Gregg, Christian Eckes. Like Ty Majeski was all down on pit road when the caution flag was out. So this is going to put your race leader, Corey Heim, back in traffic no matter what for this next restart. And we still may see some different drivers stay out to get some stage points, as we will have anywhere between 2 to 3 laps to go on the restart when we get back to racing here. To wait for the field to come back around this next time, then they can open pit road, and definitely going to get a restart before the end of stage 2. And I'd probably say about 2 laps if I had to guess. But caution is out. And there is one truck that has stalled, and it is Lawless Allen. I thought he was going to be able to get back rolling in the right direction after he had spun right when they went to commercial. That was not the case. Waited it out as long as they could, and then they had to end up throwing it eventually because, again, he was stalled in the wrong direction just off the race course, but obviously not completely off of it. Looks like he had a moment in the S's, got tight or overdrove it or something, ended up taking him and Daniel Dye with him. Clip that right rear corner panel of Dye's racetrack. That was weird. It kind of looked like Lawless Allen had spun the opposite direction into Dye. Not sure if there was any intent there or not, but that is definitely a tough break. It's like Connor Zilic definitely went for a spin somewhere around the racetrack. Mentioned on the broadcast for that last commercial as well that he had a course cutting penalty. Nick Sanchez also went for a spin. That was after contact with Jake Garcia when they were battling inside the top 10. That was before the penalty that Sanchez ended up having to serve for also cutting the track limits in the S's. We've seen several drivers do that today. Saw that in the Cup Series practice and qualifying session earlier as well. And that's going to be a common theme for drivers, I think, mainly mid-pack, that are going to be having those issues throughout the rest of the races this weekend. And on the restarts, when the confines are even tighter between positions, and everybody trying to scratch a claw for everything they can get. Yeah, Corey Heim's definitely the best on the track right now, but again, he is going to be back in traffic here, whether he pits or decides to get the stage points at some point. Might as well pit now, give you more laps to try to get that track position back, an extra restart. So we'll get a restart here, and then we'll obviously have the restart to begin the final stage, and then we'll see if we get any more cautions at all after that point. My prediction was 4 to 5 cautions. This is our 3rd. We're guaranteed a 4th with the stage end, and I don't see us getting more than 1 more yellow in the final stage. We've had 1 caution per incident now in these first 2 stages. A debris yellow brought out the first caution. Then again, Lawless Allen there stalling out on the racetrack, giving ourselves a 2nd yellow flag as well. 55 likes on the stream. Again, you guys have until the end of stage 2 to vote for who you think will win the race. Very tight poll. It was one of the closest polls we've had so far this year. Corey Heim tied with Ross Chastain at 28%. Connor Zilic, 27% of the votes. Other 17%. What a poll. I don't have diecast at the ready for the streams today. I will for the Cup race tomorrow, though. Saw you ask that question earlier, Delbert. Sorry I didn't get to it. Delbert also saying 6 or more yellows. I just don't think there's enough laps. Again, it's only a 42-lap race. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in to not only this stream, but the practice qualifying stream earlier as well. Hit our like goal there. Let's see if we can do it for the second stream today. And again, our Xfinity coverage will be later at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This race is on Fox Sports 1, by the way, for anybody wondering for the visual side of things. And the Xfinity Series race will also be on Fox Sports 1 a little bit. Your local Fox. Got March Madness going on in the background right now. Dayton trying to make it close against Arizona. I stayed up late to watch like all the games last night. So if I was a little tired during the practice qualifying stream at 10 a.m. this morning, I apologize for that. I was playing maybe a little bit more of the actual like audio coverage from Fox during the course of that than what I usually do. Didn't give myself a lot of time to get some fluids in me before the start of that, but we're good to go now, though. I definitely have more energy now than I did earlier. I'm usually a morning person, but yeah, I stayed up a lot later than I usually would. Some good games on last night. I've been enjoying watching that the last couple of days, and definitely be watching tonight after the Xfinity race as well. My bracket, although it's busted like everybody else's, you can kind of figure that. I did pretty well yesterday. I went 14-2 yesterday, and the day before that I went 12-4. So I've only lost 6 games so far through the tournament. And I think I've only lost 3 of my Sweet 16 teams. The only Elite 8 team I lost was Florida Atlantic because I had them I had them going to the Elite 8 as an 8 seed. That was the only one I've lost so far. So my bracket's doing pretty good. Think the stream will work for Cup. If you're talking about the raw feed, who knows? It works for practice and qualifying every week, but the raw feed has not worked for the Cup Series until like midway through the race, except for the Daytona 500. That was the only time it worked. Well, and then the exhibition races, it was working too. But yeah, since Daytona, it hasn't. Got pit stops, final time.
Outfit here racing this weekend. He does have a top 10 this year. He had a good showing at Atlanta. Dean continuing to add onto experience to his resume. It will be a normal stop for him, Jamie.
And number 1 of Jack Hawksworth pitting from the number 2 position. And they were just reminding him, make sure you hit your marks. He was asking the team, make sure you count me in. Remember, this is his very first race in a truck, so a lot of new things overall, though he's happy with the balance and the performance. Now it's just go time for the number 11 of Corey Hahn. This was planned to be their final pit stop. It was 4 tires and top them off with some fuel. And his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, just said, give me a good pit stop. That's exactly what happened. Number 18, Tyler Aker, he also came for some slight adjustments.
13 positions gained on pit road for Christian Eckes. I think he might have taken fuel only because he was on pit road when the caution flag came out. So just looking to top off just to make sure he's going to be good to go to the end. Again, the team's right on the verge of the edge of the pit window to make it to the end, but they should be able to make it here for this final stretch of laps. We'll wait for our leaderboard to update again to see who exactly will be the leader because we had drivers staying out that were on pit road at the time of that caution. So they did not pit here. Yeah, 19 took fuel only. Safe move, and he came out second out of the pit, so it really only costed him at least 1 position, and then obviously whoever would have stayed out there. But I think that's mainly just to see if we go to overtime, because if we end up going to overtime, then that's definitely going to put these guys even closer to the edge for fuel. These are long laps at Circuit of the Americas, so even like fuel saving under caution can be difficult because of how long the lap is to gauge exactly, you know, who would be close to making it or not making it at the very finish. Don't usually see these kinds of moments for the Truck Series races, but interesting timing caution here just past the halfway mark in this one. Still waiting for the leaderboard to update yet. Looks like Arizona's going to hold on. We're up by 11 with 44 seconds left. It's looking good. I have Arizona in my Final Four. They're one of my Final Four teams. Or sorry, no, I have them in the Elite Eight. My bad. I forgot what part of the bracket they were on. They're in my Elite Eight because I have North Carolina winning the championship, and they're in the same region. Anybody that watches basketball or March Madness, good time of the year. Got some basketball, and we've got NASCAR. A short track race in the next couple weeks for the Cup Series, Richmond and Martinsville. Obviously off the heels of Bristol last week. I'm not sure why we didn't have COTA last week and then Bristol this week. And the reason why I say that is because the West Coast swing is shorter now with only having 2 races instead of 3, with Auto Club still in the reconfiguration of their racetrack. So they're not done there. That's why it was only 2 races. But then they went to Bristol just to go back west again this week. Not all the way out west like we did with Vegas and Phoenix, but it's still weird that we came to the East Coast for 1 race, back to like the Southwest, and then we're going to be back in the East Coast again the next 2 weeks after that. I remember they used to do that with Texas Motor Speedway back in the day too. They would go east for like Bristol, Martinsville, and then they go back to Texas and then back to Richmond in the east again. Kind of doing the same thing here, only with COTA. And I think after the Bristol, Martinsville dates, I think they go to Texas after that too. So it's a little weird the way the schedule works out like that. Having 2 Texas races within a few weeks of each other, but not back-to-back weeks. Yeah, Los Allen overcooked it looked like in the S's. Then couldn't get it fired up and going. Needed a push truck to get going again. It looked like he started rolling. I thought he was going to be able to get going in the right direction, but guess he stalled out. Needed some help. And as predicted, we're going to have 2 laps to go in stage 2 on the restart. So 2 laps here. Stuart Friesen stayed out to try to get some stage points, stage win potentially. Corey Heim's going to be outside of row 3 for the restart. Green flag back in the air. Friesen Carruth on the front row, dead even start. Remember, Carruth locked up in the playoffs, so this playoff point could be big for him if he's able to beat Friesen and the rest of the trucks behind him. Carruth really easy into that first corner. Stuart Friesen overcooks it from the lead, goes way wide, and falls out of the top 5 before they get out into turn 2. 3 wide for the lead. A dive bomb move made by Ty Majeski. He's going to get out in front of the field. Carruth's getting split 3 wide, and Corey Heim goes from about 6th place to 2nd. Single file through the S's into the top 10 at least. Maybe more jockeying for position still going on behind him, I'm sure of it. Hey, Corey Heim on those fresh tires attacking quickly, and even with having to pit when he did, this actually may end up helping him because he can get a playoff point out of it still, where before he probably wasn't going to get any stage points. Heim is all over the back bumper of Ty Majeski. He's been outpacing everybody today, and he looks for the lead in the spot where he took the race lead away on the last restart from Hawksworth. Turn 11, clear, clean pass. And off and away goes Corey Heim. 18 laps to go. Trying to get a stage win here. That was big for Corey. Oh, big lockup of the brakes that time from Tyler Rankrum as he looked to maybe make a pass on the 17 of Taylor Gray. Instead ended up losing a position to Hawksworth. How about Connor Zilic up into the 8th place position? I guess he can't count him out of it yet. He hasn't had the track position after blowing the initial start of the race, so it's tough to tell what his lap times are in comparison to the guy who's dominated the race in the laps led department of Corey Heim, who has had the track position for most of the day. But Heim's passing trucks with ease, even when he gets outside of the lead on these restarts, restarting row 2, row 3, and he still gets to the lead within a couple laps. That's twice now that he's done that. This time it was within a half a lap. To go from 6th to 1st on equal tires is a lot of these. There were a couple of them on older tires in front of him, but not all of them. Majeski was on pit road when the caution came out, so he had equal tires, and he took Majeski to school. Zilic looking to make a pass on Carruth, who's still on the older tires, has the damage. Raja came in top 5 in points, so just looking to keep his positioning in the regular season standings a bit higher here. Trying to hang on for everything he can. Final lap of the stage now. Majeski in a battle for 2nd with his teammate Ben Rhodes. Rhodes started at the rear of the field today, making a good run at it. He has won on a road course in his truck career. Remember, won the Daytona road course race after winning the Daytona season opener as well. Back in 2021, he won the first 2 races that year. Rhodes 15th in points coming into the day. Stayed out to get stage points in stage 1, and with that late caution in the stage, it's going to help his positioning order not only for stage 2, but a shot to maybe have an even better finishing position to this race than what it was looking like he was going to get based off the strategy he was running. And he ran that strategy because he had to start so deep in the field today, but he's made the most of these restarts. He stayed out of any sort of major contact, and good job here by Ben Rhodes getting up to 3rd place and trying to fight with his teammate for 2nd here. Get that additional stage point on this final lap of the stage. Corey Heim is just mollywopping the field, really. He's put almost 2 seconds on Majeski. It's about a second a lap he's put on Ty Majeski here over these first 2 laps on this restart. And the only 2 laps leading into the stage end. Heim with 5 career wins can very much look for his 6th today. He was the regular season champ a year ago. Making a good case that he probably should have been the champion last year, but got caught up in that incident late at Phoenix. Got a spin. Tanner Gray, who was having a great day going for him, not the case anymore. The middle portion of the racetrack, he had gone for a spin. Somebody else had spun with him. Might have been contact there. And he's going to fall well outside the top 20 as he has to wait for the entire field to pass to get it back going again. As that happened in the middle of the pack, the front of the field, battle for 3rd going on into the final corner in turn 20. Ben Rhodes is going to lose a spot. It looks like the Jack Hawksworth is going to go from about 8th to 3rd on the restart. Hawksworth is clear. And Corey Heim is going to go on to win the stage. Good job by Jack. He's had a great run. Up to 3rd. He was in the lead, but had nothing for Heim earlier. I'd probably say he's the 2nd best truck in the field right now, though Connor Zilich is still making his way through as he ended up 7th, it looks like, at the end of the stage, so we can't count Zilich out yet. Stage 2 has concluded. Again, Corey Heim wins Stage 2 at COTA. Ty Majeski 2nd, Ben Rhodes 3rd, Jack Hawksworth in 4th, Jack Hawksworth 3rd, Ben Rhodes 4th, Taylor Gray 5th. Connor Zilich in 6th at the end of Stage 2. Raja Karut 7th. Tyler Rankrum 8th. Dean Thompson 9th. Matt Crafton gets the final stage point in 10th. So those will be the 10 drivers again to get stage points here in Stage 2. 61 likes on the stream. Again, be sure to hit that like button if you guys have not done so yet. Rowdy Bush, thanks for tuning into the stream. Robert Perkle, others, welcome. Welcome aboard. Robert, you've been in the chat for a while. I don't know why I shouted. You're lucky you got that 2nd shout out today. 2 in the same stream. Wallace Allen, his real name? I believe so. No, there's no way his name is Lawless. It's got to be a nickname. I lied on that. I might not be lying. I really don't know. I would imagine there's no way his name is Lawless. Lawful Robert understands. No way his name is Lawless. If so, that's a pretty cool name. Gotta say, that's definitely a racing name if I say so myself. We're down to 16 laps to go. You still think there's going to be 5 more cautions? There's not even enough laps for that many more. There's literally only 16 laps to go. I guess that hasn't stopped them before. There's been a couple races in recent memory that they've had 3+ overtimes. Remember Knoxville, they had a few of them that one year. Darlington. In the spring, obviously, most notably, the championship race last season had 4 overtimes. But I'd still like to think that wouldn't be the case here. So again, Corey Heim wins Stage 2 by 2.1 seconds over Ty Majeski. And that was only a 2-lap sprint there. Again, I think the biggest competitor to Corey Heim is Connor Zilich. But how quickly can he get through these trucks on this next restart? Well, then what kind of lap times can he put comparison to Heim? If he gets to 2nd, how far back is he going to be when he gets there? How much of his tires is he going to end up using? Because he's definitely working them more now, and these guys are not going to pit during the stage break. They'll be saving fuel, and they should be able to make it to the end from here. Really, from the last spot they had, they should be able to make it to the end. Fought the law, and the law won. Yeah, the law tends to win more often than not. Don't fight it. Worst thing you can do is fight it. All right. 63 likes. Our goal is 100. And because we are at the end of stage 2, the poll's going to close. 83 votes. And Corey Heim fell out of the top spot there in the final couple laps of the stage. Looks like you guys are going to vote for Ross Chastain to get the win. He's been nowhere in contention through most of the day today. But as your guys' vote from the fans, Ross Chastain is a fan vote pick to win this race today at 31%. 26% for Corey Heim, 24% for Connor Zilisch, and 18% for somebody other than those three. Most stage points today goes to Ty Majeski, 18 stage points, as we've got some comers on the pit road.
First pit box here at COTA. He said that he was struggling with the left front a little bit, especially in timing in that stadium section, but overall good balance in that truck, so the tires will be the most important thing for Rajai here. And then on the 99 of Ben Rhodes, they are going to open the hood of that to fix a little bit of the body damage on the nose, but said that Rich Lucius reminded Ben that, hey, we've got 9 points here already today. Our goal was 13, but Ben said, I want to win this thing. Jamie?
Tyler Inkerman, the number 18 on pit lane now. They have gone ahead and switched out the tires, but there's heavy damage on the front of this car. So they do have 2 crew members over the wall right now trying to get this tire off so they can execute some of this damage. And they've got the hammers out to try and hammer it out. Bear Bond is at the ready as well. So they've got some work ahead. But to Mark Hillman, the crew chief's point, they've got plenty of time to get it done right, get them back out there before the rest of the field comes back by.
So much damage to keep up with. And how about, I want to give an attaboy to the 7 truck and that 7 team. The problems earlier on the start, the green flag flew and he went off course. They were able to get that truck back, fixed up where he needed to be, and now Connor Zilisch up there in 5th.
Yeah, that sway bar arm they changed on that pit stop and only lost 1 lap. That's a fairly major change, and they certainly executed that.
There's Connor Zilisch getting some fresh air underneath that helmet. We have a lot more action coming your way today on FS1.
So Corey Heim will be the leader in the restart. And again, Zilisch in 5th place now. A few drivers ahead of him just hit pit road. The drivers who were in the pits were the drivers who had stayed out to get stage points here in stage 2. They did not pit both when the caution flew or before the caution flew late in the stage for Lawless Allen stalling out right around turn 6. And then obviously during that caution period, we saw quite a few of the drivers hit pit road for, again, what was likely the final time. The last of the pit stops for those of the drivers who did not pit just took place. Still have quite a few on the lead lap, obviously. 30 drivers on the lead lap. Lawless Allen never fell a lap down, even with the stall out. Actually, he did, but he got the free pass with this caution, so he's back on the lead lap. So 30 trucks on the lead lap. Nobody out of the race today, which is good to see. And we're about an hour and 20 minutes since the drop of the green flag in this one. Average race speed to this point, 68.59 miles per hour. Corey Heim dominating the day, gets his first stage win. Sanchez stayed out on pit strategy to win stage 1. He led 4 laps in that stage at the end there. And then Corey Heim has led a lot since. He's been the fastest truck. He was fastest in practice, qualified second. But his competitor here for this one and coming into the day, Connor Zilisch, from a lap down to 5th. Can he catch him in the final 14 laps of this race? When we go green, we'll have 14 laps to go. And this could be the final restart. We definitely know we aren't going to see any more pit stops in this race. Be shocked if anybody comes to pit road to take on fresh tires. Track position, I feel like, means a little bit too much. I don't care what point we end up getting that caution flag to come out in these closing laps. Sorry for that. I realized my door wasn't locked. The apartment. Had to make sure that was locked. I was rushing in with the dog there back in stage 1. It was like cracked open the entire time. All right. Here we go. Just getting into turn 17 and 18 right now. That means the pace truck will be pulling into pit road here in a couple corners. And then we will get to racing. Beautiful facility in Austin, Texas here at Circuit of the Americas. One of the more newly added road courses to the NASCAR schedule. Again, already the 4th year NASCAR has gone here consecutively. And still to this point, remaining the mainstay on the schedule. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski on the front row for the race start. Corey Heim, if he gets through the first couple turns here with no major contact, he's going to be tough to beat. This could be the final restart of the day. We'll have to wait and see. Getting his way through turn 20, right off the exit of the corner. Through the restart zone, green flag back in the air. 14 laps to go at COTA. Majeski trying to stay with him on the start. Door-to-door, big side draft there by Majeski as they work upwards through the gears, now into the downshifting area. Through the bumps into turn 1. Heim drives it in deep, not too deep though. Comes out with the race lead cleanly out the exit of turn 1. And Zilich is going to get to 3rd place, picking up 2 spots on the restart. Quick movement, now trying to make quick work of Majeski for 2nd. For the first time really today, we could have the fastest trucks running 1-2 and finally get to see them go head-to-head, as we have not seen that through these first 28 laps. The quicker Zilich can get by, the less likely Heim is to pull away here off this restart. Side-by-side still for position in the top 10. Taylor Gray, Christian Eckes for 6th. Door-to-door through turns 8 and 9. And these next 2 corners, Eckes will have the advantage on the inside. Into turn 11. And it's going to be Eckes coming out with that position. So Eckes will make the pass cleanly now for 6th. Good battle that went on there on the restart. Still side-by-side battling going on well behind him. And we'll see if the 7 truck of Zilich can make the pass on Majeski. Getting some extra draft, longest straightaway of the track. Downhill to turn 12. Not going to pull out a line yet. Wider entry into the corner. We'll see if that helps him out. Couple trucks with quite a bit of damage off this restart. Dean Thompson, who is inside the top 10 in the 5 truck as well. Stephen Parsons in the 75, having quite a bit of damage. And here's that battle for 2nd. Zilich making slight contact, going to run the 98 wide, and he's got the position. Roughed him up a little bit, trying to get by him as quickly as possible. I think the curb might have launched him a little wide, and now there's a tire rub on Zilich. That is not good. He did not make the pass cleanly, and it might have bit him. It looks like the right front is rubbing. Actually, it might be the right rear. It's either the right front or the right rear. He's going to stay out of the pits this time by. We'll see how that pans out for him. After the 98 went wide, it opened the door up for Jack Hawksworth to make a run through 18, 19, and 20, and he will come out of turn 20 to the start-finish line with 3rd place. So Jack Hawksworth makes the pass for 3rd. Locking the brakes up is Hawksworth into turn 1, and it looks like Majeski's going to get the spot back. And hopefully Hawksworth didn't end up flat spotting those tires. And we'll see if this tire rub may go away on the 7 of Zilich. Otherwise, he's going to have to come to pit road, surrender 2nd. He's 1.7 seconds behind race leader Corey Heim. Finally got the 2nd after all the efforts made by the team and by him to get through the field after an abysmal start through stage 1. Now has a fender rub on that right rear tire. May completely take him out of a shot of winning this time around. It's definitely flared out quite a bit. It's the fender right in front of that right rear tire, kind of the sidewall of the race truck. That's flared out quite a bit. He's still smoking. It seems like he's smoking more down the long straightaways of the racetrack as he's turning and getting through the right-handed and left-handed corners around this racetrack. The smoke goes away. The tire looks up for right now. And the lettering is not rubbed off of the sidewall of the tire either. which is also another good sign. It's a long way to make his way around this road course, though. If it stays up for a couple more laps, I think it's going to continue to stay up, and I don't think it's as violent of a tire rub as it may look by the naked eye. But definitely some drama late here for Zilich. And as he has this tire rub, Corey Heim continues to run faster laps than Zilich. I do believe Heim was faster this last lap. First full lap that Zilich has been in the second place position in this race today. Down to 12 laps to go for Heim. Waiting for our leaderboard to update. And we'll get to see who ran the faster of the last lap between Heim and Zilich. And Heim was quicker by about a half a second. Yeah, he's definitely pulling away. Christian Eckes is on pit road. After getting to 6th, might have had contact with Taylor Gray, and he is coming to pit road for an unscheduled pit stop. And this is going to drop Eckes out of the top 10. That's a tough break for him. Dropped to the rear before the start of the race with the transmission change. Got his way up to 11th place. Middle of stage 1, the pit strategy. He was able to get some stage points in stage 1. Got some stage points in the back half of the top 10 in stage 2 with the late caution there as well. And unfortunately, running in 6th place, an unscheduled stop again for Eckes. And with this 2.3 second lead and growing for Corey Heim, we'll go through the full field running order for the final time of today's XPEL 225 for this Craftsman Truck Series race. Heim with the race lead, Connor Zilich in second, hanging on with that right rear tire rub. Ty Majeski in third, Jack Hawksworth fourth, Matt Crafton with a solid run rounding out the top 5. Back-to-back weeks for a top 5 for Crafton if he can hang on. Taylor Gray in 6th, Nick Sanchez 7th, Dean Thompson 8th, Stephen Parsons 9th, and Ty Dillon rounds out the top 10. Good run for Ty. Grant Enfinger in 11th, Stuart Friesen 12th, Ross Chastain 13th, Jack Wood 14th, Ben Rhodes 15th, Taylor Gray 16th, 17th for Matt Mills, Roger Carruth 18th, Tyler Rankrum 19th, Chase Purdy 20th, Timmy Hill 21st, Jake Garcia 22nd, Christian Eckes has fallen to 23rd, maybe even worse than that by the time he gets scored at the line this next time by. Carter Fatouche in 24th, Dale Quarterly 25th, Mason Massey 26th, Visante Salasins 27th, Marco Andretti 28th, Bailey Curry last truck in the lead lap 29th. Lawless Allen has fallen a lap down again, now in 30th. Unscheduled stop, I believe, on the restart. Lane Riggs 31st, Daniel Dye 32nd, 33rd for Spencer Boyd, Brett Holmes 34th, and Thad Moffitt 35th. All 35 trucks still on the racetrack, but again, only 29 in the lead lap. Corey Heim has led 17 laps and counting so far in this race from the second place starting position. He's led 5 different times as well. No other drivers led more than 4 laps today. Sanchez on pit strategy was able to lead those 4, but nobody has actually passed Corey Heim for the race lead all day long. Fastest truck from yesterday through practice. Got beat out in qualifying by Zilich. All the issues here with Connor, finally gets to second place and just doesn't have anything for Corey Heim. Not sure how much that fender flare is maybe causing some havoc down these long straightaways on this racetrack, but it may take another restart to dethrone Corey Heim for potentially winning this race here today. 67 likes on the stream so far. Be sure to hit that like button. We'll see if we can get to 100 likes on stream. Listening live to the XPEL 225 again for the Craftsman Truck Series at Circuit of the Americas.
Afternoon of racing here at Circuit of the Americas, just outside Austin, Texas. 11 laps to go, and the 11 continues to lead. He's holding off Connor Zilich by over 4 seconds. Ty Majeski behind him, Jack Hawksworth, and Taylor Gray, your top 5.
We talked about Corey Heim stepping it up the last 2 laps. He's been faster than Connor Zilich and has run the fastest laps of the race. So he felt the pressure coming, and he stepped up and said, not so fast, son.
Really, really fast laps. Several laps now down under the 2 minute 14 seconds.
He could just hang on. He finishes second in his debut race.
I guarantee he'll be disappointed, but it'll be quite an accomplishment for what all he's been through.
Yeah, this wasn't an easy one by no means.
But I think that just shows you how tough our truckers are. When you come in here, you're a road course expert. Corey Heim says, I wasn't very good here last year.
I got 6.
I was 6. And that's not where I want to be. And then to step up and run the lap times he's running right now.
Corey Heim makes his way down the front stretch. This is the Craftsman, 10 laps to go.
Craftsman's such a great partner to the Truck Series. Perfect sponsor for our trucks.
They really are. Let's get an update on our leader, Jamie.
I love the calmness. It's on the radio for Corey Heim, coming from both his spotters as well as his crew chief, Scott Cipodelli. And what they're telling him right now is they're telling 10 laps to go. You're doing great. Remember, though, every single lap, this is what they're telling him. Remember, do not cut the course. They talk about the risk versus the reward in doing so, and they're saying right now there is zero reward because they're throwing penalties at everybody.
Great information for Corey Heim as the leader. But you guys, look how perfect his truck is. I mean, there is not a scratch on it. Scott Cipodelli. These two together, they're magic. I mean, literally, like you guys said, Corey said, we weren't very good here last year, finished 6th. Well, they went to work. They've been in the simulator, built a brand new race truck, did everything it took. They led the most laps today. Can they hang on and get the win here? It'd be a big moment for this team.
Another sub 2:14 second lap for Corey Heim. He's doing it lap after lap, Michael.
So this is between 19 and 20. You see the alternate start-finish line we used for qualifying.
I don't believe I'd throw the caution for that.
Hard to tell what it is, but
Brake hose, I think. He said the brake hose. I know one guy that doesn't want to see a caution. Corey Heim. Snap them all up. No telling what will happen. But I'm telling you, this is impressive. Pressure here from Ty Majeski on Zillage for that second spot.
told Zillage, don't make any more mistakes. Be smart out there. Got a lot of smoke, maybe babying those tires a little bit. Ty Majeski putting it to him here, trying to take over the second spot, and he does. Connor's not going to give it up that easily. This is a great battle for second. After all this today, Connor Zillage jumping in a plane, flying to Pensacola, Florida, as we heard earlier. He'll run the ARCA East race tonight.
NASCAR just said Stephen Parsons in the 75 truck, running in the top 10, exceeding track limits over the S's.
Yeah, tough break. Had a great run going. Good battle here between Hawksworth and Taylor Gray.
And right behind them, there's battles everywhere.
Matt Crafton, Nick Sanchez just behind them, coming up the hill. Dean Thompson still hanging there in the top 10. Stuart Friesen in 9th.
Wow, Stewart's had a heck of a day. We saw him about spin out once, missed turn 1 once, and still battling along inside the top 10.
How about the season for Taylor Gray, who's running up in the top 5 once again?
He's been impressive, the kid has.
Jeff Hensley is crew chief. That's been the difference this year, I think, for these two. They just think the world of each other. Young driver, very veteran crew chief. They're off to a solid start. They've had their hiccups today, their issues.
They've been all over the place. Look at that. 30th at the end of stage 1, but he's right back at it.
No quit. Taylor Gray right now in 5th position. Let's get an update on the 17, Amanda.
And since Atlanta, Jeff Hensley has really been talking about the maturity of 18-year-old Taylor Gray. He's also given him the nickname Haas. When I asked where that came from, and Jeff Hensley said, well, that's what my dad called me.
Haas. I like it.
His birthday next week, right? Is it Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to turn 19.
A lot of racing ahead for that young man.
Moving on up.
Look at the damage. That's sort of the picture of the day.
Yes, no doubt.
Fenders caved in galore. You see Ty Dillon. Excuse me. Yeah, that's Ty Dillon.
Yeah, 25, yeah.
Ty Dillon with a nice run today. They needed it.
Ben Rhodes just ahead. They're racing behind.
Ben is on his way forward. Remember, he pitted after most of these trucks after the stage end.
And Chastain just ahead of him there.
At their 11th, 12th, 13th positions. So Ty Dillon, 1 of 2 drivers in the field who are running the Xfinity race coming up next. And I just got a note. Kyle Larson, who qualified on pole, had a crack in his brake rotors, had to change him out. He'll start the back.
Oh, wow.
That's gonna be quite a show.
Yes, it will be.
We've seen quite a show here with these trucks today.
We sure have. Except for Corey Heim. It's been nice, smooth sailing for Corey. Started this race second, his best start of the year by a lot.
Just opening up that lead now, over 8 seconds over the second place running Majeski.
You can see where he spent most of his time. He's led 20 laps and right up front. I like how you can hear those tires squalling when they work their way up
Look
the
at
track.
that. Clear track ahead, clear track behind. That aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven.
And every sporting event is even more special when you look up at the sky and see that Goodyear blimp floating above.
That's an experience. I take my hat off to Goodyear. And last Sunday, they had their hands full, and they talked to us. They gave us the story. They stayed on top of it. It was very impressive. We appreciate their partnership and how they help us in the media.
It sure was an unbelievable race last Sunday at Bristol.
I was up in one of the suites and I was telling people what was going on, and when that first green flag pit stop started rolling around and guys were slowing down dramatically, I was like, yeah, folks, this has never happened before. You're seeing something that never happened. So much fun at Bristol.
I kid you not. We had about 20 laps to go, and I started seeing stuff coming out of the sky, and I thought it was bugs, which happens at the racetracks. You know, it's springtime. It was raining cords. It was cotton coming down all over the ground. I'd never seen anything like it.
Another good battle here. Ross Chastain is getting to the inside of Dean Thompson.
This is for the 9th spot.
And he
Ross
pushes him
Chastain.
over. Is that tight battle behind him, too?
Yeah, I don't think Ty was close enough to take advantage, but there's Ben Rhodes.
That's where I said,
He's going to take advantage.
Where'd he go? I lost him. Ben Rhodes is trying to take advantage.
He's got it.
And here comes Ty Dillon.
Ben Rhodes started in the back of the field. Ran up front. Little strategy got him mired back there a little bit, but fresher tires, and he's on the move.
I think if he got the stage points he got, if he can finish up on the top 10, I think it's going to be a great day for Ben Rhodes and that team.
7 laps to go here. Corey Heim continues to lead. The 77 and Chase Purdy went around.
Having a really solid run was Chase. It's going to hurt his finish. Run better than he's going to finish for sure.
So Corey Heim's got about an 8.5 second lead over Ty Majeski. Connor Zilic behind that.
Maybe a little contact from the 38 of Lane Riggs. It looks like it. Lane's being shown 4 laps down because of his electrical troubles earlier.
There you see Tyler Ankrum. We saw him on pit road getting his hood squished down. Tyler slipped by the outside of that spin. He's currently in the 15th position. See Jack Wood coming onto the scene there.
There's a lot of damaged trucks in this field. But they put on a good show for us. And there's things to watch everywhere. You can put 100 cameras out there, you still can't capture it all.
It feels like we do have 100, because I don't think we missed a film.
I think we just did anything.
It's been incredible.
Taylor Gray's made his way around the 7 of Zilic up to the 3rd spot.
Zilic taking care of his truck.
I think he's just getting outrun right now, Jim.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see it smoking anymore, so maybe it did clear itself, Michael, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, that's for sure. Just doesn't have the pace now that he had earlier.
And he had to pay after they changed
sideways,
completely sideways. But he had the pace even after he had the sway bar arm change. He had the pace, so it wasn't that was a problem.
He's on the same tires as Corey Heim, so it's not a strategy issue either. Just track probably changed a bit throughout the course of the day with the rubber going down. Weather hasn't really changed, been pretty consistent. Nice overcast day. What you want as a racer. A little more grip when that sun's not beaming down on the racing surface.
About 70 degrees here. Has been a perfect day for racing. It's supposed to be the same tomorrow.
Corey Heim, I think's in cruise mode now. He's no longer down there in those 13s. He's backed it down to about 215 flat. First 4 trucks all ran in the 15s, but he's got that cushion, and there's no sense in pushing it.
Yeah, you never know. You might need to save some tire for a late caution for a restart.
Corey Himes finishes this season 2nd, 3rd, 6th. Looking at his first win of the season here. If he can just hang on, been a good day for him.
This is a tense time, though, whether you're sitting on the pit box or behind that wheel, just trying to make sure you log laps and take care of that huge lead that he has, and hope all the other competitors keep their trucks straight so you don't have to give that lead up under caution.
A couple of first-timers in the top 10. Got a cup driver in the top 10 with Ross Chastain back there in 9th.
Look at that long straightaway as he stretches that Toyota out, letting it have all it's got down the back.
To be comfortable in his window, pitting on lap 23.
And we're still slipping and sliding tires.
You can see him turn the wheel back to the right because he got a little bit loose.
So much for that taking care of things. Let's just get back to the race.
That's Stuart Friesen trying to hold off Ross Chastain.
Ben Rhodes lurking back there in that 99 truck. He's running 10.
Good effort for Stuart also to have a top 10 run going here.
It's like Ty Dillon's trying to peek out on Dean Thompson. Dean's there, though.
Ty Dillon, it's been a rough start to the season adjusting to this new team. Best finish 14th at Atlanta. Certainly a great run for him today. If he can hang on, he's in the 12th spot. Just picks up another one, now 11th.
Talked to Crew Chief Shane Wilson yesterday. He said, we are building a team. We're going to get better. We're going to be better each and every week.
Just getting word that the 7,
oh no,
Connor Zilic cutting the course, and now this, the 33, Lawless Allen stopped on the track. He's off the racing line. Connor Zilic is on pit road. The caution is out now.
I like that
for
move.
The 5th time.
He's not going to win the race. Why not put fresh tires on and see what happens?
He cut the course.
Oh, he served the penalty. Yeah. But I still don't mind if you're outside. I mean, it might have been a little bit much for him, but if you're outside the top 15, I certainly don't mind coming in and put tires, because if you get maybe a couple overtime restarts, you can gain some spots.
Yeah, and remember the fuel window. We got to think about that too when you talk about overtime and how long this track is. We said fuel window is right around 22 laps. We go any overtime at all.
These caution laps will help.
It'll help for sure, but also when you think about overtime and restarting, that's a lot of distance. Won't help enough, I don't think.
I don't think Corey Heim is Lawless Allen's biggest fan right now, do you?
Come on, man. So you see 5 laps to go. The truck has picked up the field. Corey Heim.
We know the front of this field's all set. Not to come to pit road, Corey Heim's thinking, I got this. I feel like he's got so much confidence in the way he races his vehicle and just the things that he says. But there's still always that possibility of contact when you have a late restart.
I mean, right now we've got Tyler Ankrum running in the 15th position. Why not come to pit road? What do we have? It's 27 trucks on the lead lap. Come to pit road. See if we can make something happen.
And we talked about all the passing zones. So there's a lot of opportunities, especially if you put yourself on some fresh tires versus the competition. A lot of opportunity to make your moves and get up to inside of that top 10.
Maybe pump those tires up a little bit where they'll perform like they are for qualifying.
Michael, I like what you said. We're going to have another restart.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be good.
So and you know how things get a little bit crazy in Austin.
They do. Well, they're going to get a little crazy next week, and as pro football is back, it's on Fox as the UFL kicks off next Saturday with the USFL champion Birmingham Stallions taking on the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. Kickoff weekend continues next Sunday on ESPN. Looking forward to this. The season without football is too long for many, so here you go. And I was looking at the schedule. My son really wants to go to a UFL game, a USFL game. And when we're in Talladega, they're actually the Birmingham Stallions are going to be playing in Birmingham. Yeah. So let's go.
I think we have a road trip going, huh?
I think we do. Birmingham's just outside of Talladega, about 45 minutes. So why not?
I think it's pretty awesome what Jack Hawksworth has accomplished today, running solidly in the top 5 all day long. Right there.
Yeah, first truck race. He actually did run an Xfinity races several years ago. I think for Joe Gibbs, actually qualified on the front row, had some trouble, finished, I think maybe 15th or something like that.
Zilic caught quite the break there with his pass-through penalty after cutting the track limits because the caution fell right at the same time. He had great track position, was only lost a couple of spots. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this place is so cool for. Fans just laying around enjoying a beautiful NASCAR day.
I love it. We've been watching these shots, you know, offline all day long, and all the little kids love to start on the hills and run all the way down to the fence and then run all the way back. So many campers here. This place is packed. Great weekend for camping.
We're gonna have some takers, I think.
Oh,
We
got a
are.
couple right there.
Craftsman's coming.
Zillage?
Zillage is coming.
Looks like
Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon. Amanda.
To Connor Zillage, hit this time. Connor was like, why? They are taking fuel and 4 tires.
Phil, you said why? Because he can't win the race. He didn't feel like from where he was. We saw how much faster Corey Heim was than him. Brian Patty's here for one thing. The crew chief on that truck, we're going to win the race.
Jamie, we see the number 88, Matt Crafton, now at a stop, and this really came down to Matt Crafton and his decision. Jared Prince, the crew chief, he wanted to stop. He said they're 0.8 a lap faster than you every time. I'd rather you be able to drive through them than have to play on the offense, and so that's what they just decided to do, make this stop and put on some fresh tires, as is number 18, Tyler Ingram.
All right, so this should be fun.
Yeah, I knew that. I felt like they should from Ankrum back should stop, but they stopped way before that.
4 laps to go here from Circuit of the Americas. Stay with us. You won't want to miss the finish.
Well, here we go. Some alternating pit strategy going on in the late going of this race. Some of the drivers out of the top 5 ended up on pit road, like Matt Crafton, and others inside the top 10 also hitting pit road with the late caution. And we're only going to have a restart with, if I had to guess, 2 or 3 laps to go. If they go green this time, it'd be 3 to go. If they have another lap to wait for the drivers that hit pit road to catch back up at the back of the field before we get back to green, then we'll have only just 2 laps left in this one, but we will not go past the scheduled distance if this is the final caution of the race. This is the first caution for incident in the final stage. Corey Heim just gets through the first couple corners with the restart. We don't get another yellow. He should go on to win. He's dominated the day so far, but he does still have to get through. Will he get used up by somebody? That could very well be the case this juncture of the race. You just never know. You'd hate to see that happen, but at the same time, that's the nature of the beast of these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races. I don't think the other drivers care as much. So anything could happen here. We'll just have to wait and see what ends up playing out. But Heim has definitely deserved the win of this one. 24 laps led. Got an extra stage win in there, which is not usually the case with the road courses and the stage cautions. But the caution coming out before the end of the last stage definitely helped him get in position to win that stage, and still had to go from about 6th to 1st in those last 2 laps, and the restart was able to do so easily. So Corey Heim will be the leader in the restart, and then Ty Majeski will also be on the front row, waiting to see where some of those drivers that hit pit road will line up, as quite a few drivers ended up staying out, but obviously most notably there, Connor Zillage, Matt Craft, and others coming into the pits. Tire fall off, we saw about a 1.5 second difference, at least with Corey Heim's fastest lap of the race and the lap times he was running right before the caution came out. And that was after about 7 or 8 laps of green flag racing. So 7, 8 laps equating to about a 1.5 seconds of fall off with these trucks. And I'm interested to see how that carries forward into the Xfinity and Cup Series races as well this weekend. Because there are areas of the racetrack that are newly repaved, but obviously there's still areas of the racetrack that are still the older, more worn-out surface. All right. The fan vote was Ross Chastain for you guys to win. You never know what could happen on a late race restart. He is in 8th right now. Not sure if he hit pit road or not. To wait for our update. Once the leaders get back to the start-finish line this time, our leaderboard will be updated. They might restart this time. So we might not find out until the very restart exactly who's going to be the front 5 or 6. At least on our end. Once again, a reminder, top of the next hour, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will have live commentary coverage coming for you for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at COTA. Cup Series action tomorrow begins with our pre-race at 3 p.m. Eastern as well. So a couple more races still to go. They will restart this time by just getting out of turn 19 into turn 20. Pace truck pulls the pit road. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski in the front row. Row 2, Taylor Gray, Jack Hawksworth, Nick Sanchez back in contention with Stuart Friesen in row 3. Green flag back in the air. Hawksworth did not get going well on that restart. Big gap right now with the top two who are side by side and Taylor Gray in third. Time on the bottom. On the outside of him is Ty Majeski. Into the first turn, a little further back, trying to dive bomb. 3 wide for about 7th place for position. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Might have been Ross Chastain in the 45. Trying to pick up a few more positions. Corey Heim does come out with the race lead, though. Pretty easily off turn 1. Was able to clear the 98 of Majeski. And through the S's already carries about a 3 to 4 truck length lead. Hawksworth remains in the top 5. Got about 3 trucks sideways in the middle of the S's. Chase Purdy, Timmy Hill. And there was another truck in there. Couldn't tell exactly who it was, but 3 trucks sideways. They all get back going in the right direction. I don't see any debris laid down. We continue to stay green. Christian Eck is fighting back into the top 10 here in the late going. That extra lap on this restart as well for the drivers on fresh tires could help them. Zilich and Craftsman still trying to work their way from the back. Again, very few drivers hit pit row. Zilich is up to 12th. And make that 11th. Going after Dean Thompson for that 11th place position. He's got him. Going to outbrake him into turn 12. Got to be careful making contact. He had a tire rub earlier. Got lucky that the tire never ended up going flat. I don't know if he can get out of jail free cards with that. It's like the one in the 52 making a lot of contact there. Hawksworth overdriving turn 16, gets into the side of Friesen. Friesen hangs onto the position, cuts across the front bumper of Hawksworth as those two trade paint. Nick Sanchez like, all right, I'm just going to squeak by here, get by both of you. And Sanchez will move to 5th. Friesen loses a few positions more than Hawksworth did in that transition. And shout out to Stephen Parsons having a top 10 run. No, he is not in the top 10. Never mind. He was on the top 10 of Fox's leaderboard there a couple seconds ago. Must have been an error in the graphic. Taylor Gray got by Ty Majeski as well for 2nd place. Off the restart, Majeski locking the tires up into turn 1. There was another truck back half of the top 10 locking the tires up. It was Christian Eckes. Oh, man, and Eckes goes from 9th to outside the top 10 again as he tries to get back going in the right direction. He will. A lot of points lost here for Eckes in that race for the regular season championship. I mean, he's going to lose a dozen or more points here in the final 2 laps. Tried to make a 3-wide move to the inside, locked him up big time, went straight, and ended up spinning out once he got onto the asphalt out of the actual racing groove. Kept it out of that sand pit. Might have spun to keep it from going into the sand, so at least he didn't lose too many more positions than what he had already lost. Eckes falls to 20th on the leaderboard. Ross Chastain battling for a top 5 position with Hawksworth. Chastain's got the positioning, side drafting his way down the long straightaway to turn 12. He'll have the advantage on the inside. We'll see if he can clear him. Taylor Gray still about 1.3 seconds off the race leader, Corey Heim. And all clear is Chastain. 1.3 second difference still remains between Heim and Gray. Taylor Gray has never won in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Topsy-turvy day for Gray. All started off that initial start. He qualified 3rd, got to the initial lead. Oh, and we're going to get another caution. The entire rear axle of a race truck is rolling. Yeah, we're going to get a caution. 2 turns away from the white flag. The yellow's out. We're going to have an overtime restart.
I have never seen that before. Have you, Michael? Other than in a
the rear axle.
That is unbelievable. Well, I saw Marco kind of limping down the front stretch with a lot of smoke.
Remember,
Serious issue.
Remember we said
Wow.
the fuel window is right around 22 laps.
I mean, you're getting a peek underneath the hood. Look at this.
His rear end fell out.
Literally. and that's going to take a while to hook that truck up and get it back.
That's why I brought up the fuel window, because I know we're saving gas under caution, but this could take a while.
Marco's shaking his head like, I've never seen such a thing. He's had some strange things happen to him in his truck races.
Track officials got that record right there, right away. Great work by them. Going to have another record to get that rear end housing.
This was Marco's first truck race of 7 scheduled. He's also running a lot of the Arkham and Art Series races.
That's what a complete rear end housing looks like.
If you haven't seen one lately.
Seen one.
There it is.
Gone. Wow. You see brake duct hoses flapping.
Well, that's wild. Caution is out for the 6th time.
Shock. You see a shock flipping around the silver thing on the far side.
There's a shot from afar.
Oh, wow.
There it goes. Popped right out. Yeah, I'm with you, Phil. I've lost a couple of rear end housings in a wreck or two, but never just driving down the road.
See the shocks flipping around, brake duct hoses flipping around. The rear end gear is in that rear end housing.
Wow.
Bruce Cook is crew chief right now. Just must be beside himself. He's been in this sport a long time. Wonder if he's ever seen that. So Corey Imes got to be shaking his head as well. He was just coming out of turn number 20, about to take the white flag when this happened.
Yeah, that's the rear end gear right in the center of the red thing with that black yoke on it. Obviously, it's coming loose from the drive shaft. There's a shock. Over on the right side, the silver and gold.
Let's listen to Taylor Gray's radio.
Stop here. We're down to 20 pounds of fuel pressure. We're not going to make it. This thing goes another lap or 2 here.
Well, his teammate Ty Majeski also concerned. I just talked to Joe Shear Jr. if they were worried about fuel, and he said, "You betcha. I hope they get this thing cleaned up good and fast."
That's what we were talking about, Amanda, that fuel window. Corey Heim last pitted on 23, so a little bit better than Taylor Gray and Ty Majeski, who were in on 21.
So you see it there, laps since last pit, as Michael was just talking about. So we're going to have NASCAR overtime, and we're under caution for this.
See, that's rear end grease coming out of that line that's flipping around, just in spots.
Which NASCAR will have to tend to. See all that grease, as you said?
Somewhere Larry Mack is watching this with intensity.
How many caution laps have we had, Phil, since these guys pitted?
We've had 4 so far, so that might save them 4 laps. But, you know, when we talk about, Michael, we talk about the pit window being 22 laps. I also talked to some crew chiefs that said maybe more like 19 or 20 laps.
It would be nice if NASCAR might consider stopping them so that it isn't an issue, but that cleanup could take a while, too, so they might have to do that.
I know all those drivers that pitted.
Well, under a red flag with just 2 laps to go, right before an overtime restart, the entire rear end housing of Marco Andretti's 04 truck came out from underneath him, headed into turn 12. Never seen that happen before. To have that happen so late in a race, it wasn't like we were just a couple laps in and they had made a change. Like I don't know how that happens. And that's going to put a lot of these drivers on the edge of the fuel window running these extra laps to make it to the end. Remember, this fuel window is extended longer because of the caution that came out with a few laps to go in stage 2 that the field that would have pitted either during the stage break or with about 2 or 3 laps to go, the stage ended up pitting with 5 laps to go in the final stage. So about 22, 23 to go, which was already right at the end. And now we're running more laps past the scheduled distance. We're already at lap 42. This was a scheduled 42-lap race. Field has stopped on the front stretch. I don't think they've opened pit road yet. So, I mean, we're still going to have probably 2 more laps of caution once we get back to yellow flag conditions. But red flag to try to get all that fluid cleaned up there, headed down the hill towards turn 12. And while that happens, we continue, obviously, our live commentary coverage of the XPEL 225 at COTA for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on KRC. Once again, be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. We're at 76 likes. Our goal is 100. Again, the goal was 100 likes. We have well more than that many people watching right now, so be sure to hit the like button. Helps these streams out a ton. And be sure to subscribe for more NASCAR content every NASCAR race weekend as well. We have live commentary for every NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, and NASCAR Cup Series races, as well as NASCAR Cup practice and qualifying streams. We had our Cup practice qualifying stream earlier this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time for that one. So appreciate everybody that tuned in early for that, and thank you for coming back or maybe tuning in for the first time today during our Truck Series coverage. Xfinity Series coverage will begin a little over an hour from now in our triple header of Saturday action at COTA on the channel, as that race will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern, with our NASCAR Cup Series pre-race coverage beginning tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully this red flag isn't going to be too long, and hopefully these trucks that have shut their vehicles off during this red flag condition can get them back going again with how little fuel they have left in them. Get anybody stalled out, that could lengthen the caution even more for the drivers who are already not in great shape there. The highest running of those that would have pitted during the second to last yellow that we had would have been Connor Zilisch, who had made his way to 9th just before the caution flag came out. Now, Matt Crafton in 12th has already hit pit road as well. A few others right around that portion or further back in the running order have pitted for tires before that last restart, which took place with 3 laps to go initially. Interesting stuff going on, to say the least, right now.
Soto lead the Yankees against Jose Altuve and the Astros, or the Giants take on the Padres. All begins at 7 Eastern. Check for the game in your area. Well, we're under caution here for the 6th time. The rear end housing falling out, literally, of Marco Andretti's truck. Some of these truckers, a lot of them, close on fuel, so they brought him to a stop on the front stretch. So while we have a minute, let's dial up our race leader. You see it right there. Wow.
Hey, Corey Heim, Phil Parsons in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
10-4, gotcha.
Buddy, you've done an awesome job. You told us yesterday during the practice and qualifying show that you didn't feel like you were very good last year, but man, you have more than made up for today. That thing's been a rocket ship.
Yeah, so far so good. I was coming to see the white there, unfortunately, but it's part of racing, and hopefully we can get through turn 1 here up front and keep it going. I feel like we've done a phenomenal job with our State Flight Dodger Charity Pro. Throughout the day, huge thank you to Shotgun Garage and Toyota Racing for everything they do and contribute. Definitely can't complain about the speed of it, but definitely some other variables out of our control that we got to get through first.
What do you think? Turn 1, is that the biggest obstacle in your way?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's not many out front, so I guess that's the big one.
All right, buddy, well, I appreciate it. We're going to talk to your crew chief right now. Jamie.
And that's Scott Zeppedelli. They were 3 to the good, meaning you had 3 laps of extra fuel in that truck before these cautions started flying. What level of concern do you have with another restart?
I'm not sure what you said there, but we're close on fuel. We're really close, but looks like we can make it. He was running 80% the last stint, so hopefully it saved a little bit there. But he's done a great job. We've had a lot of fun. We didn't need that extra drama there with a rear end house rolling across the racetrack, but that's part of racing, and we'll see what we can do.
They've been able to lead 26 laps so far. Let's see if they can lead the one that matters. Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie. And Connor Zilisch talked about him all day and the day he has had in his debut in the Craftsman Truck Series. Let's dial him up.
See what he's thinking right now. Connor Zilisch, it's Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy?
I gotcha.
Well, it's been an adventurous day, buddy. What do you think about your first NASCAR experience? That truck's got a lot of speed, and you got fresher tires. You think you can still win this thing?
Yeah, it's definitely not out of the cards. The Spire Motorsports group with Austin Patrick Foundation on the truck's been really fast today. Just the driver's been making too many mistakes, but we're sitting at a good spot here to get a good finish, and just got to get it to the end.
All right, buddy. Thanks for your time. We're going to talk to your crew chief now down on pit road.
Hopefully he ain't too bad.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There are some smiles up here from Brian Patty. I'm sure you're pretty relieved about that call into pit lane for Connor Zilic there. It is not over yet. What are your hopes for Connor on this restart?
Just, no more mistakes, right? Let's get through turn one and let's race through the S's. The last driver retired when we pitted was destroyed. So he's learned a lot. I would hope so. It's just been a crazy day, but I'm glad that, all the Spire Motorsports team is stuck behind us and, we got a shot at top 5.
Thank you, Brian.
So Taylor Gray in the 17, another one that's had an eventful day, shown in the second spot right now. Let's listen to his radio.
Hey, buddy, we get back right here to pit road, we're going to have to stop. We're going to be out on lap 43. We're coming to lap 43 right now. I hate to do it, but it just didn't work out for us. It looked awfully good there for a while.
Wow, that's exactly right. That's bad news if you're the driver thinking, man, can't we just try to stretch it?
Do we say the radio didn't work? I didn't hear you. I mean, remember last year, Kyle Busch, Brian Petty, that same crew chief, tried to get Kyle Busch to come to pit road. He didn't. Then the caution came out. He got caught and ended up restarting 15th. Got back to second, but he didn't win the race like they felt like they should have.
So we're about ready to go into NASCAR overtime for the first time. Here's the rules. It's a 2-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's caution or the checkers. Caution prior to white flag causes the restart. So we'll do it as many times as needed. But it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be wild is what it's going to be.
We got to get 3.4 miles around here to the white flag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Taylor Gray saying, I think I'm going to make it, I'm just going to stay out. But it's 3 miles. I mean, 3.5 miles by the time you get around here. You got to do that twice. So if it's even close, you got to pit.
I mean, it's almost 7 miles. That's a gallon and a half for sure.
There you see the laps since pitted. Corey's got a bit of a buffer there.
Taylor and Majeski both pitted on lap 22. Remember, we talked about what an advantage it was for those guys to get to pit road prior to the caution being waived. Now it might bite them if they don't have enough fuel to get to the end.
Be careful what you wish for,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful speedway here.
Helicopters, planes, there's all kinds of action out there. So pits will be open this time.
And we'll go racing the next time, I expect.
So the 17 was told he'll need to pit. Wonder what they're telling Ty Majeski in the 98.
Majeski also on that same strategy. Pitting a couple of laps before our leader, Corey Heim. Ben Rhodes in the top 10 along with Connor Zilic.
I can't believe how tidy that restart was in turn 1. I really expected those trucks to go 4 and 5 wide. Well,
do you expect this to be tidy?
I didn't expect that one to, so I'm not going to expect this one to be.
Corey Heim is hoping it is. He's been so good on the restarts today.
Oh no, 17 stayed out.
Is this push all over again?
Maybe they said give it one more lap.
I think so too. I mean, if he's going to come in, there's 26 trucks on the lead lap. They've had a great season so far. I like that strategy. Stay out and let's hope we have enough fuel. Hope's a great strategy, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, if you're out of cards, you can hope for better ones.
Lap leaders today, Corey Heim, 26 laps, continues as the leader. Sanchez, 4 laps. Tanner Gray, 4 laps. Talk about turn 1, lap 1. Woo, we got off to a crazy start.
Connor Zilic just straight off the racetrack, just overshot turn 1, locked up the front tires. That's the result of that. Had to come in and change the sway bar arm.
This is Stuart Priest's beginning to a wild day for that truck. He's been up and down, but has done a nice job recovering.
17's had a wild day, locks it up right there, had a lot of damage on the right side, as you see. He's had to fight his way back to the Ford.
Look how tight that is right there. Tyler Ankrum pulls out. Just clips Dale Quarterly.
Nick Sanchez and the 13 of Jake Garcia get together. Nick goes around, keeps it running.
And there's
Tanner Gray and Raja Caruth.
18 of Tyler Ankrum getting into the 15 of Tanner Gray.
And here comes the bonsai that didn't pay off.
Look at his commitment. You got to like that, right?
Tries to save it, and around he goes. And then the latest caution. Bam! All by himself. Marco Andretti loses the rear end housing, and away it rolls.
That one's unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Nice looking rear end housing.
That would have to been a very violent.
Look at this shot. What a place to
man.
watch this race from. You could see the entire course from up there.
Is that as high as the airplane up there?
Felt like it.
What a shot.
Ask Carson Hosebar, he'll tell you.
What is Carson Hosebar, about 6'3"?
6'6", I bet.
Is he that tall?
He's probably 6'5". I think this is a real interesting part of the race for Taylor Gray. What's he going to do?
I think it's a good call. I mean, he knows he's going to finish probably outside the top 20 if he pits, and he stands a chance of making it, and he's running up on the front row.
You think a really violent wheel hop could have caused that rear end to bust loose and eventually fall out?
Maybe break the trailing arms or something like that. I think that's the only thing that makes any sense.
Dale Quarterly,
Well,
another issue for him.
that may delay us another lap, and that's going to really hurt.
You can roll backwards, nothing coming in.
I don't think it is.
Gray.
I hope he
we're going
gets
to get
down
the
the
green.
hill.
Look at the damages. Is that Grant Enfinger
It
back
is.
there on the left side? Black and yellow truck. So if Dale Quarterly can back up down the hill, back onto pit road where he just came from, it looks like he'll be able to do it.
Oh, great job. Great
Yes.
job by Dale.
It's uphill into turn one, which means if you're going backwards, it's
Downhill.
Yeah.
You don't need power.
Big restart coming. Big restart.
Lights off on the pace truck. A lot of anticipation here for Corey Heim and Taylor Gray.
I think Taylor Gray's in a bind, according to his team.
Ross Chastain back there in fifth, nothing to lose. It's all about the win here. What's he going to do on the restart? Ben Rhodes, seventh. It's a couple more spots. He's looking for his first top 10 of the day. Of course, they're going to restart differently than the pylon shows, but I mean, Ben Rhodes just had a great day. Be nice for him to get out of here with a solid top 5.
He shares that.
I will say this could end up like the finish of the Xfinity race at Atlanta a few weeks ago, where we had guys running out of fuel on the restart as they were trying to get going, especially up that steep hill to turn one. The pickup could be a little worse for those drivers who are on fumes right now, including our race leader, Corey Heim. Green flag is back in the air. We're racing at COTA. Who's going to have enough to make it to the finish? And who will make it to the finish for the checkered flag? Into the first turn, side by side for the lead. Corey Heim cutting off the bottom of the racetrack as quickly as possible. Comes out with the lead off of turn one ahead of Taylor Gray. One truck goes for a spin from about fourth place as the rest of the field tries to dodge him. Taylor Gray will hold on to second. It was Nick Sanchez from fourth place who got spun off the front bumper of another race truck. Race for the win is on. Corey Heim retains about a 3 to 4 truck length gap over Taylor Gray in second. Gray was told by his crew chief to hit pit road a lap or two before we went back to racing. Didn't feel he could make it. They left him on the racetrack. He sits second place still to this point, trying to make 3.4 miles of a lap, not once but twice. And can we stay green to get to the white flag, which would signify that the next flag would end the race? Connor Zilich off the restart goes from about 8th to 5th, back into the top 5. Good run for the rookie in his debut. And he actually just passed Ross Chastain through turn 12 for 4th. Remember, Zilich has fresher tires than the 3 trucks in front of him, and he's got the most fuel in his race truck than everybody else up there as well. Ty Majeski, same pit strategy as Taylor Gray. Both of them pitted at the same lap the last time. Corey Heim may have a little bit more fuel. He pitted about a lap or two after them under caution. Zilich trying to put together a couple of really strong laps with his 8-lap fresher tires. Saw about a 1.5 seconds of fall off between the two. That extra restart allowed him to pick up even more positions, as we just saw. Corey Heim working his way through turn 18. It was turn 19 where that last caution ended up coming out, which set up the overtime restart. He's done a great job thus far. Still has fuel in the race truck. Out of turn 20, he will get the white flag. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Connor Zilic is about 2.8 seconds off the race lead. He can definitely get to third. He's only about 0.7 of a second behind Majeski. And maybe even seconds within reach there, depending how far back Taylor Gray falls. Gray 1.5 seconds off the lead at the line that last time by. Corey Heim continues to put the power down. Through the S's, Corey Heim has absolutely dominated this race today. He's about 2/3 of a lap away from victory. He by far has led the most laps in this race. 30 laps led. No other driver led more than 4 laps. Nobody passed him on the racetrack. The only way other laps were led was just simply based off of pit strategy and green flag pit stops throughout the course of the race. It has been all Corey Heim. Just have to hope that he has enough fuel to make it to the end. Still about a 1.3 to 1.4 second difference over the 17 truck of Taylor Gray. Half a lap to go as he gets out of turn 11. Down the long straightaway and downhill. Taylor Gray is still surprised he has as much fuel as he does. He was told to pit, he stayed out, and he's a half a lap away from a second place finish. So it's now point away from Chastain. A couple trucks going wide. It looked like Stuart Friesen and Raja Karuth go off track at turn 11 and lose several positions. Friesen was in 8th. I would imagine Karuth was, looked like Karuth was 16th at the scoring line the last time by. Lap truck getting passed by the leaders. May get in the way for the battle for second place just a little bit there between Taylor Gray and Ty Majeski. They race around the lap truck. It looks to be severely damaged. Might have been from the 3 trucks that were sideways off the initial restart. We're able to get back going through turn 1. Corey Heim off turn 19 into turn 20 is going to capture the checkered flag and get his first win of the 2024 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season, and on the first and only road course of the season as well. Heim is a winner on fumes at COTA, and he is going to be the 4th different driver to lock himself into the Truck Series playoffs, and he is the 5th different winner in the first 5 Truck Series races of the season. Great job by Corey Heim. Didn't want to wait too long to do a victory burnout. Turn 1, top of the hill. He's doing it right now. Maybe didn't want to run out of fuel, having to make an extra lap around the racetrack before then. Congratulations to Corey Heim for getting the race win here today. A 1.6 second margin of victory, 2 hours, 15 minutes, 21 seconds from the drop of the green flag to the checker today. Of course, not including the red flag time we had there before that overtime finish. Red flag lasted only 4 minutes and 35 seconds. 6 cautions in total for today's race, 2 in the final stage. 1 for incident in stage 1 with the debris caution. Stoppage on the racetrack from Lawless Allen in stage 2 and stage 3 were the only other cautions for incident. And, of course, the 2 stage ends. 31 laps led for Corey Heim, led 6 different times. Mainly virtue of pit strategy was the only reason anybody else even led today. Heim qualified 2nd. Led the opening laps of this race, or led all but the first couple laps of this race after he went wide on the first lap. Not as wide as Zilic, but he went pretty wide. Fell back to about 5th, 6th, drove up, got to the lead before the green flag pit stop towards the end of stage 1. Obviously ended up going on to win stage 2, and then win the race. Get to hear from your race winner, Corey Heim, here in a few moments once he is done burning it down on the front stretch. Some other notable stats to the finish of this race. Looked like 25 trucks finished on the lead lap. And I'm not sure who all DNF. Looked like 3 DNFs today. Mason Massey, Vicente Salas, and Lawless Allen were the 3 trucks that failed to make it to the checkered flag today. So 32 trucks finish out of the 35, and again, 25 on the lead lap. Here's your race winner, Corey Heim. Time, yep.
This young man's going to have a lot of wins in his future.
So talented. A couple years ago in one of his first starts, restarted late in the race on the front row at Darlington. That'll get your attention as a broadcaster. Guys like us, Phil, that have been around the sport forever, seeing someone do that, you're like, all right, well, this is a little bit different than most.
Well, you and I, Phil, we covered him in ARCA. We knew what he was capable of. This young man
yeah.
battled tooth and nail with Ty Gibbs. Now here he is, Corey Heim. In his 46th start, he gets his 6th career win. Jamie Howe is with the winner.
Well, we've talked about it all day. He left this race unhappy with that 6th place finish last season. Corey Heim, you are now a back-to-back road course winner. What have you now proven to the entire pit area as well as yourself?
I just prepared so hard for this race. Huge thank you to everyone back at Shotgun Garage, Shoulder Racing. The Safe Flight Tundra Duty Pro is phenomenal. Huge thank you to Trevor Bain for my pre-race stuff. He's helped me so much. Keegan and Eric back at 2311 as well. Just so much help through so many different areas for this race for me. I came into this race last year and just struggled, really. I think I finished 6th with a penalty and just all over the place. And to put together a solid race like this is so special and really just shows you how good our trucks are back at the shop.
Resume builder is a word that you used yesterday. You have now finished inside of the top 6 in every race of this 2024 season. What do you take away as you head forward?
Yeah, just great consistency. I mean, that was the name of the game last year to make it as far as we did, and had an unfortunate result at the end, but I think this year we can make it back and prove it that we're champions. So I'm super excited for the rest of the year. We're really just getting started. I feel like our best trucks are in front of us, so definitely can't wait.
Congratulations. Taylor Gray out of the truck, and I think you're taking in this moment. I did talk to your crew chief, Jeff Hensley. He was breathing better after they saw that checkered flag. How was those last couple laps for you, knowing the fuel issue?
Yeah, I mean, just, I can't thank everybody up at Tricon Garage for my really good JBL Tundra TRD Pro. I debatably ruined a race at the beginning of the race by getting that penalty, and kind of the heat of the emotions got to me a little bit after that. But just can't thank all the guys enough for rebounding so good, and it sucks. I mean, we put ourselves in position. Jeff did a really good strategy call to get us back up front, but just couldn't attack those last couple laps. I feel like we probably could have had something for the 11, maybe gave him a little harder of a race at the end. But, congrats to those guys. They executed well all day long, and, we just got to keep executing, and we'll get us a few.
Yeah, you can thank yourself for rebounding, too. Jamie?
Good day for Tricon Garage, no doubt. How about Taylor Gray? 3 top 5s in the last 4 races.
Pretty good strong start to the season for Taylor Gray. Sounds like the strong start Corey Heim had before getting his first win of the year today. Consistently top 5, just never there when it mattered the most when the checkered flag flew, but he was there here today. And again, he is one of 4 drivers now locked into the Truck Series playoffs. Taylor Gray pretty comfortably above the cutoff line, plus 60 points already as well. It's on the bubble for most of last season. Not the case this year, at least to this point through the first 5 races. Truck Series will be off next weekend, and then they will return the following week at Martinsville, while the NASCAR Xfinity and NASCAR Cup Series head to Richmond. Go through the full field finishing order real quick before we end this stream. Again, Corey Heim, your race winner by 1.6 seconds over Taylor Gray, who finished in 2nd. Ty Majeski with the 3rd place run. Connor Zilic in his first career start finishes 4th, and Ross Chastain ended up with the top 5 in 5th. Jack Hawksworth 6th. Matt Crafton 7th, Ben Rhodes 8th, Christian Eckes 9th, Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10, Tanner Gray at 11th, Ty Dillon 12th, Grant Enfinger 13th, Jack Wood 14th, Jake Garcia 15th, Matt Mills 16th, Raja Caruth with a 17th place run, Bailey Curry 18th, Timmy Hill 19th, Nick Sanchez 20th, Stephen Parsons 21st, Stuart Friesen 22nd, Carter Fatouche in 23rd, Chase Purdy 24th, 25th for Tyler Ankrum. He was the last driver again on the lead lap. Dale Quarterly a lap down late there, finishes 26th. Lane Riggs 27th. Daniel Dye 28th. Brett Holmes 29th. Spencer Boyd 30th. 31st for Marco Andretti. 32nd for Thad Moffitt. Lawless Allen 33rd. Vicente Salas 34th. And Mason Massey in 35th. So again, 3 drivers DNF'd here today, 25 on the lead lap, and congratulations to your race winner, Corey Heim. Predicted the winner correctly again. I think that's the 3rd truck race now. Back-to-back weeks have predicted the truck winner. Had Eckes last week. Busch at Atlanta, 3 for 5 this year. Let's go. My predictions for race wins have been pretty good this season, I do have to say. Needless to say about myself, The only other thing I have to promote for myself is, again, the streams that are still to go on this weekend. Our NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage, again, will begin at 5 p.m. later on this evening, less than an hour from now. We'll be streaming once again for the third time today. And we will be streaming tomorrow during the NASCAR Cup Series race as well at 3 p.m. Eastern. So appreciate your support as always. Hope to see you in a little bit. Be sure to hit that like button on the stream. We're at 94 likes right now. Hopefully we'll get to 100 here soon after. That was our goal. And appreciate it. A lot of people coming in for this truck race. Hope to see you back soon for the Xfinity race as well as Cup tomorrow. See you guys soon, everybody. Thanks for watching.